Okay, this video I will go through the Addmaths paper. So this is a Addmaths trial paper. This is the Selangor paper. Okay, Selangor, and this is Selangor set 1, and this is paper 1. Yeah, 2024. Okay, so let's start now. All right, let's skip the formula. Okay, let's do question number 1. Okay, let's read the question. Diagram 1 shows a sector OPR. Okay, so we all know sector consists of 3 lines: radius, radius, and arc, right? So this line we call it arc. And the other 2 lines, that's the radius. And radius mesti sama panjang, so this will be 12 cm. And they say with center O, okay, inscribe in a trapezium OPQR. Okay, what do we know about trapezium? Trapezium will have 2 lines that are parallel, right? And you can see it's very obvious is the OR line and the PQ line, which is parallel to each other, right? And they put here 90 degree, 90 degree, right? Okay, now let's see what they want for A. Show that theta equals to 0.948 radian. That means they already give us the theta answer, right? But we have to buat-buat tak nampak. Meaning is like we have to buat-buat tak nampak means like we have to anggap macam kita tak tahu jawapan ni and kita buat sendirilah. And after we buat sendiri, hopefully my final answer, if my final answer same with this, means we will get the 2 marks, right? So how do we show that theta equals 0.948? Okay, let's think about this. Um, okay, obviously this is circular measure, right? From 5 chapter 1, circular measure, right? And circular measure, you learn about the formulas, right? So can we use the arc formula? Cannot, because they never give me arc. And I cannot use area of sector formula because they never give us the area. And I don't think you can use the chord formula or the segment formula. So you can't do it, but you can use the right angle triangle, right? So what I will do here is I will tarik one line like this. Because when I tarik one line like this will be 90 degree, right? And do you remember the whole panjang here is 12? And this panjang and this panjang will be same, right? Because if you tarik straight line like this line and this line mesti sama panjang. And what happens when you tarik like this? The 12 becomes 7. Because 12 is the whole panjang. Whole panjang is 12. 12 minus 5, you get 7, right? And you can see this is a right angle triangle. So let me draw it out. This is the right angle, this is 90, this is 7, 12. So in a right angle triangle, if you have any two sides of the right angle and you want to find the angle, you can use SOHCAHTOA to find, right? So depan angle kita panggil opposite, depan 90 kita panggil hypotenuse, and then the last one we call it adjacent. But sekarang we are trying to find theta and kita hanya ada A dan H. So SOHCAHTOA. So A and H, kah, we have to use cos. So cos theta equals to adjacent 7/12. And now we press calculator. And when you tekan shift cos, the answer will be in degree. Okay. Okay, let me press. Okay. My calculator give me 54 degree 19 minutes. Usually I write in degree minute. Okay. But you can see that the answer they want in radian, right? So you should convert. How to convert? Take the answer times with pi over 180. That's how you convert degree to radian. You darab pi over 180. And the pi you use 3.142 because they they mention it, right? Okay, let's press answer times 3.142 divide 180. Okay, my calculator give me 0.948, right? Usually I'll write 4 significant figure, which means I'll write 0.9481, right? But in this case, they want us to show. It means they already want our answer to look like this. So why not you just follow follow the answer, okay? Because this is a show question, right? Okay, so this is the A answer. So you get 2 marks for this. Okay, now let's do B. So B says calculate the length of arc PR. So you have to use the formula for arc, and the formula is S equals R theta. Okay, S stands for arc. So the arc PR, and we need to have the radius and the angle lah. Okay, so the PR is this, right? This is the arc PR. And for us to use the R theta formula, we need to tengok dari center. Okay, and the center is O, right? So what is the radius? 12 cm, right? And what is the theta in radian? 0.948. Okay, because this theta is 0.948. Okay, and remember, whenever you use this S equals R theta formula, the theta has to be in radian. Okay, I'll use the answer button times 12. Okay, my calculator give me 11.3 37711. Okay, like banyak lah, dia bagi banyak decimal place. So I'm just gonna write four significant figure, 11.38. Actually it's 11.377. So I round off lah. So when you write in four significant figure, it becomes 11.38. So yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, that's all. Okay, let's continue with question number 2 now. Diagram 2 shows the graph of ln y against x. Okay, this is linear law question. Linear law. From 4 chapter 6. Yeah. Okay, linear law question, right? So they give us a diagram here. But when we are doing linear law, we don't look at the diagram first, right? What do we look at? We look at the equation first, right? So the variable x and y are related by this equation. Find the value of p and q. Okay, the first step when we are doing linear law question is always change the equation to linear form. It means we have to change this y equals e power 4x minus 1. Second, tukar jadi y equals mx plus c dulu, right? Because if we don't do that, then we cannot find the value of p and q later. Okay, so please remember this. Bila masa buat linear law, mesti first step memang tukar jadi linear form dulu. We don't look at the diagram first. The diagram is useless. Okay, macam mana nak tukar jadi y equal mx plus c? Alright, you can look at the y-axis and the x-axis. So you can see this is a straight line, right? That means this y-axis, this should be your y-axis, ln y, right? But now it's y, right? So macam mana nak samakan, how to say? Macam mana nak y, macam mana nak jadi ln y? How to make it same? It means I have to tambah log base e, right? Because ln is log base e, right? So if I tell you ln 3, what it means is log base e and then 3. Okay, that's what it means by ln. What if I say ln e, which is log base e lah, which gives you 1. Because when the log number and log base here same, you can cut jadi 1, right? Okay, so that's the idea. So that's why I put log base e here. And of course, on the other side, you have to put log base e also, and this will be e power 4x minus 1. Okay, when you tambah log both sides, you have to you can tambah either base 10 or base e, right? But for this question, you want your y-axis to be matched with the y-axis in the graph. So that's why you want it to be ln. That's why you put log base e both sides, right? Okay, so now it becomes ln y, right? Because I told you log base e is ln y, right? And then what about here? Okay, here you want it to be mx plus c because linear form, right? So what we can do is the power we can bring it. Okay, we can bring it to the front. So 4x minus 1 boleh hantar depan macam ni. And then here becomes log EE. And I told you log EE, you can cut jadi 1 here, right? So now just left with 4x minus 1. And then the other side is just ln y. And this is your linear form, right? This is your linear form because it's already arranged nicely. Y equals mx plus c. So from your equation, you can see this is your y-axis, ln y, and your x-axis is x. So you can see, you punya y-axis, x-axis sudah match dengan graph. So sekarang you boleh ambil gradient and y-intercept to use the gradient and y-intercept to find PQ, right? So your gradient from equation is 4, right? So I'll continue here. Gradient from equation is 4. And then what about the y-intercept from your equation? So your y-intercept from the equation is -1. But this is from equation. What about from the graph? Okay, from the graph, it will be, okay, from the graph, they actually never give us the gradient, but they give us 2 coordinate here, and we all know how to find gradient. You take y minus y, divide x minus x, right? So let's do that. P minus 2 over 0 minus q. Actually, you want to take 2 minus p also can. But if you take 2 minus p, then you divide q minus 0, but it's the same. Okay, so now we can solve this. P minus 2. 0 minus q is just negative q. And then when you dot up, it becomes negative 4q like this. Okay, we are stuck here because got 2 unknown, p and q. But it's okay. We can find the y-intercept first. So can you tell me from the graph, can you find out the y-intercept from the graph? Okay, they mentioned here is p, right? But from the equation, the y-intercept is -1. That means p equals -1. Maksudnya, this is the y-intercept, but this is also the y-intercept. So they both the same. So p is -1. And now the -1 can ganti masuk like this. And then now you can find your q. -1 minus 2 is -3. This is -4q. And q will be -3 divided -4, which is +3/4. And we can write again, p equals -1, comma, q equals 3/4. Right? And you should be able to get full mark, right? If you write like this. Okay, hope you understand. Okay, let's continue with question number 3A. Okay, determine whether the following sequence is a geometric or not. Give your justification, 2 marks. All right, how can we determine, how can we prove to them whether it's a geometric or not? Okay, the way we do it is we take uh T2 divide T1 and then T3 divide T2 and see whether they give us the same value. Because if it's a geometric progression, the ratio here should be same. Okay, the ratio must be same. So if the ratio is same, then it's a geometric progression. But if the ratio is not same, then it's not a geometric progression. And how do we get the ratio? We take T2 bahagi T1, right? Okay, so T2 bahagi T1 will be 9 pi divide 6 pi. Okay, the pi can cut, left with 9 over 6, and when you simplify, it's 3 over 2. What about T3 divide T2? 12 pi divide 9 pi. And the pi can potong, and when you potong, you left with 12 over 9, which is 4 over 3, right? Yeah, because yeah, 12 divide, yeah, correct. Okay, so as you can see, this ratio is not equal, is not the same. So we can say this is not a geometric progression. So I'll write here. So determine whether it's a geometric. So I'll just write not a geometric progression. Okay, but they say give a reason, give a justification. So why you say it's not? Okay, okay. Okay, let's not write like this. I will write like this. Okay, let me write again. So if you want to write nicely, you can write like this. Since, right? Since T2 divide T1 is not equals to T3 divide T2, not equals, therefore, this sequence is not a geometric progression. Okay, so this is how I would write it. Yeah, this is good enough because you already mentioned the reason. The reason is because the ratio is not equal, lah, right? Okay, done already. Now we can do B question. Okay, B, let's see what they want. If A is the first term, okay, R is the common ratio, okay, we know that already, of a geometric progression, show that the sum of first n terms is this, right? Okay, if you look at this, this is the formula that you need to hafal, or like the formula that you belajar in this chapter, okay, the SN formula. And they want you to show that the SN formula is this. It means you have to prove to them, right? You have to start from nothing and then prove to them that you have to show them how this formula, macam mana datangnya formula ni. You kena tunjuk dia orang macam mana datangnya formula ni. So you have to start from nothing and you have to show them how to get here from nothing. Okay, from nothing. Okay. Okay, actually I made a specific video talking about how to prove the TN formula for arithmetic. Okay. And then SN formula for arithmetic. And then for geometric also I made a specific video to, and then I also talk about how to prove the TN formula, SN formula, and the S infinity formula, right? Yeah, you can find it on my channel. I made it like a few months ago. Yeah, like a specific video talking about how to derive the formula, or like how to prove the formula for TN, SN, right? But it's okay. I will explain it again here because since they asked, right? So I will tell you once again. Okay, this SN formula actually ada dua formula yang awak belajar. Satu is macam ni, satu lagi is like this, 1 minus R power N over 1 minus R. Okay, they look similar, but they are not same. This one is R minus 1, R power N minus 1. This one is 1 minus R, 1 minus R power N. Tapi cara untuk derive dua formula ni lebih kurang sama. Lebih kurang sama, tapi bukan exactly sama lah, tapi lebih kurang sama. Okay, so I'm gonna start with SN, which means SN means sum of first n terms, right? So what SN means? Sum of first n terms. Okay, uh, hasil tambah uh, first n terms lah. Okay, all right. So how we get Sn is we take the first T1 plus T2 plus T3, basically just add all the first n terms together. So the last term will be Tn, right? It means if this is S7, then you will take T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5 plus T6 plus T7, right? If it's T5, then it's like T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5. If it's Sn, then it's like T1, T2, T3, and the last term will be Tn lah, right? So this number depends on your n, right? Okay, and now they got mentioned that the first term is A. That means the T1 I can write A. And they said R is the common ratio. So that means the next term should be A times R, right? And then the third term will be A times R, which is AR power 2, and then keeps going until the last term, which is Tn. And you can see that when it's T1, there's no R here. When it's T2, it will be R power 1. When it's T3, it's R power 2. That means the power here is always the n minus 1. So for Tn, it will be AR, the n here have to minus 1 also. Like that. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I will okay, I think I will write one more here, T4. Okay, so if it's for T4 here, then that will be AR power 3 lah, and then dot 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 until like this, right? Okay, now what I will do is I will take everything times R. Okay, I'll take everything times R. So what happens here is it becomes R times Sn. But if you take the left side times R, the right side also have to times R. So what is A times R? AR. What is AR times R? AR power 2. AR power 2 times R will be AR power 3. And then AR power 3 times R will be AR power 4. But I'm not going to write that, because it will just keep going until the last term, right? Okay, what is the last term? AR power n minus 1 times R. When you times R, you will get AR power n. Let me explain. AR power n minus 1 times R, it will be A, and then the R and R same base, right? So when you have same base times, the power have to plus. So it will be n minus 1 plus 1. Why plus 1? Because this one is R power 1. Nothing here means power 1. So when you times, the power have to plus. And then the negative 1 plus 1, you can cut, because negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So you're left with AR. And that's how I mean AR power n, right? The n is left, right? That's how I know it's AR power n. Okay, okay, but I'm gonna erase this. Okay, so now I will call this equation 1. Now I will call this equation 2. And now we will take 2 minus 1 or 1 minus 2. Okay, listen. If you are trying to prove this formula, the R minus 1, you should take 2 minus 1. If you're trying to prove this one, you're trying to derive this formula. But if you're trying to derive the other one, the 1 minus R version, then you take 1 minus 2. Okay? But this question, they want us to derive the R minus 1 version. So you should take 2 minus 1, because then you will get RSN minus Sn, and when you factorize, it will become, when you factorize the Sn later, you will become R minus 1. And then this R minus 1 can pindah later, and then the R minus 1 will duduk bawah like this, right? That's why you take 2 minus 1, right? Okay, but let's write the right hand side first. So again, I repeat, I'm taking the equation 2 minus yang atas. Okay, yang bawah minus yang atas. So can you tell me what happens if I take yang bawah ni minus yang atas ni? So it will be RSN minus SN, right? So what happens with this AR? They will cancel, right? So let me show you which terms can cancel. These two can cancel, because when you take bawah minus atas, these two same. So when you minus, it's like they cancel each other. This one also, they will cancel each other out. This one also, they will cancel each other out. And then this AR power n minus 1, it will cancel also, but it will cancel with the term before AR power n. Okay, it will cancel before the term AR power n, because the term before AR power n will be AR power n minus 1. Okay, because it's like, yeah, because every time you move, it's like power plus 1, right? AR power 1, AR power 2, AR power 3, AR power 4, AR power 5. So if the last term is AR power n, then the term before should be the power n minus 1 lah, right? That is why this term can definitely cancel, right? So in other words, every term from here to here and all the term in between, they can all potong become 0 already. So what's left? The only thing left is this and this. But since you ambil bawah tolak atas, you have to write AR power n minus A. I repeat, AR power n minus A, because you ambil bawah tolak atas, right? Okay, let me erase all these things. Okay. Okay, so now you have to write AR power n minus A. Okay, you understand, right? Because every term here already cancel. Because when you take equation 2 minus equation 1, everything here becomes 0. So you left with AR power n minus A. And now you factorize both sides. Okay, the left side I already factorized. This side you can factorize out the A. You will left with R power n minus 1. So now you can get your formula. It will be R power n minus 1. This one moved over down here, become this. All right, so this formula is same with what they want, right? So now I can write the word shown, right? Okay, if the question say derive, then I will write the word derived. But if they say show, then I will just write shown. Okay, all right, so this is how I would do it. So hope you understand. Okay, if they want to derive the other version, 1 minus R, you will do the same here also, but you will take equation 1 minus equation 2. Okay, and then factorize both sides, and then you will get this. Okay, all right, so hope you understand. Okay, let's do question number 4A. Okay, 4A, they says Alvin undergoes 2 running training session. Okay. In each session, Alvin runs for a distance of 5 kilometer. Okay, so 2 training session. One session distance 5 kilometer. In the first session, Alvin runs at an average speed of X kilometer per hour. But in the second session, Alvin decreases his speed by 2 kilometer per hour. So in the second session, he runs slower lah. And then he finished the training 3 minutes later. So makes sense, right? Because he runs slower in the second session. So it will take him longer, 3 minutes later, to compare to the first session. Calculate Alvin's average speed in the first session. Give your answer correct to 4 significant figures. Okay, I think the first thing I have to do here is write down the information, right? So how I will write it is because got 2 session, right? First session and second session. So let's write down the first session punya information. So we all know the distance is 5 kilometer for both session. Yeah, for both session it's same. Okay, because they say already, right? In each session, Alvin runs for distance 5 kilometer. Means every session took 5 kilometer. Okay, for the average speed for the first, first session is X kilometer per hour. I recommend writing the unit also. Yeah, you should write the unit because it's important. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Okay, what about the second session? Okay, the second session decreased average speed by 2. So I'll just write here average speed is x but minus 2, and I recommend writing the unit kilometer per hour. Okay. Okay, now they got mentioned something about the time here. So finish the training 3 minutes later compared to the first session. All right. So they say the second session punya time is 3 minutes later compared to the first session. But I don't know the first session time. So let's find the first session time. And how do we do that? You will take 5 over x. Okay. All right. Let me explain why is it like that. Because the formula for average speed is take the distance travel or the total distance divide with total time. So that means speed formula is distance over time. So if I want to find the time, it would be distance over speed lah. Because this t you can move up here, and then it becomes st equals d, and then the s bring it down, right? So that's why your t is distance over speed, which means distance 5 over speed x. That's why it's 5 over x. But I told you you should write your unit. So what's the unit for this? It will be hours. And I hope you know why. It's because the distance is in 5 kilometer, right? And then the speed is in x kilometer per hour. Okay. So the kilometer, divide kilometer, you can cut already, right? But it will be 5 over x, but the per 1 over hour is here, right? So when you move up here, it becomes hours lah. Okay. Okay. All right. So don't forget to write the unit hours. Okay. Now for the time for second session, they say the second session finish the training 3 minutes later compared to the first session. So the first session time taken is 5 over x, but you cannot write 5 over x plus 3. Yeah, this is wrong because this is 3 minutes. You have to convert to hour. That means you have to take 3 over 60. Like this. Then only it becomes in hours. Because this one is in minutes. And the 5 over x is in hours. So you have to convert 3 minutes to hours. And how you do that is 3 divided 60. Okay, and then you get something like this. Okay, now they want you to calculate Alvin's average speed in the first session. Means they want to find x lah. Because the first session punya average speed is x, right? So how can we find x? Okay, I will find it by using the second session punya info. Because the first session info cannot help us. Because the speed memang equals to distance over time already. So we can use this. So the formula we use is this formula, speed equals distance over time. And the speed is x minus 2 for the second session. And then the distance is 5 kilometer. And then the time is 5 over x plus 3 over 60. You can simplify, it becomes 1 over 20 like this. And if you keep solving this, you will get x, right? So now you understand, right, why cannot use the first session? Because if you use the first session, it will be x, which is the speed, equals to distance over time. And how, oh, you can do it also, right? Wait, let me think. X equals to, oh no, you can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it because it will be speed x equals to 5 over time is 5 over x. And then you will just end up something like this, x equals x. Because if you do this one, you will get x both sides. So it's like, how can you find x, right? So that's why I use the second session information to find x. Okay, now we are trying to solve this. Okay, I need more space. So let me make this smaller. All right. So how can we continue from here? Is like we pindah this whole thing, come darab. So x minus 2, when you move this over, it becomes times, right? So it becomes x minus 2 times with 5 over x plus 1 over 20 equals to 5, right? Okay, when you times, you have to take depan darab depan, which gives you 5, depan darab belakang, which gives you 1 over 20x, and then this one belakang darab depan, negative 10 over x. Belakang darab belakang, negative 2 over 20, which is 1 over 10 equals 5. Okay? You can use your calculator to help you. All right. After you reach here, you can see there's fraction, right? So how to get rid of the fraction is you make the denominator same for everyone. You samakan dia punya penyebut. So this one is over 20 over x over 10. So what you can do, you make, because this one is over 1, right? This one is over 1. So you make everyone, you make the denominator for everyone 20x. Yeah, semua penyebut you jadikan 20x, right? So this one you have to times 20x, right? So you have to times 20x. This one also you have to times 20x. So when you times 20x, you get 100x here. Because 5 times 20 is 100x. And then what about this one? This one over 20. So this one over 20, you just darab x saja lah. Tapi atas pun kena darab x. And this x, if you write in the middle, means dia atas punya. So x times x will be x square. Okay, what about this? Over x. Over x macam mana nak jadi over 20x? You times 20 lah. And when you times 20, you get 200. Okay, what about the 10? How to jadikan 20x times 2x, right? When you times 2x, you get 20x. So you just left with 2x here. And then the last one, how you make it 20x? This one is over 1. So you darab 20x, ini pun darab 20x. So you'll get 100x here. Okay, so remember, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get rid of the fraction. Okay, so you can see now there's no fraction anymore. Okay, now I will take 100x minus 100x, which gives me 0, and I end up with a quadratic equation, x squared minus 2x minus 200 equals 0. Okay, but the question already mentioned here, give your answer correct to 4 significant figure. That means this equation cannot be solved using factorization method. How I know? Because they already give us hint. The hint here is, they said, this answer is 4 significant figure. That means if you try to use calculator and factorize, they will give you like jawapan yang tak boleh tukar fraction. And for those type of answer, you can't use the calculator factorization method. You have to use quadratic formula. So I have to use negative b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. But the answer you get from using this formula will be the same with the answer you get in your calculator. But you need to show the working, you have to show them that you use this formula, because memang for quadratic yang jawapan dia macam ni, you memang kena guna cara formula. Okay, because it's a ugly answer, you can't change to fraction. Okay, so what's the formula? Negative b plus minus b square root b square minus 4ac. So the b is negative 2, this one also b. For the a is 1, so this is 1, and then this should be a also, this is 1 also, and then the c is negative 200. Okay, all right, so now it becomes positive 2, because negative negative positive square root, and then 2 times 1 is 2 here. Okay, let's press this thing inside the calculator, but don't press the square root. We don't press the square root. So 4 minus 4 bracket negative 2. Okay, my calculator give me 804, so I'm just gonna write it down. And now this thing will split into 2 parts. Okay, I don't have space, I'm just gonna write here. So this plus minus, you have to split into 2. 2 plus square root 804 over 2, or the other one, 2 minus square root 804 over 2. And now you can get your x answer, right? So you write your both answer here lah. Okay, let's press 2 plus square root 804, and then answer divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 15.18, and the question wants us to write in 4 significant figure. So this is 4 significant figure. Okay, what's the other answer? 2 minus square root 804, and then answer divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me negative 13.18, right? But obviously we have to reject this answer. And why we rejected this answer? Because x represents average speed. Speed tak ada negative. Okay, there's a speed tak ada negative one, right? But acceleration ada negative. Okay, just but speed tak ada. So they want to find x, right? Average speed in the first session. So the answer is 15.18, right? But let me write. Let me make it smaller and write it here. So we can say the average speed is 15.18, and then the unit is kilometer per hour. Okay, all right. So hope you understand my explanation. Okay, now let's use the remaining space here to do B. Okay, let's read the question. Given alpha and beta are the roots of the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 4x plus 9 equals 0. Okay, this question confirm you have to use Sopor method. When you see the word roots, you will use Sopor method, right? And they even give you the roots is alpha beta, right? So definitely you will use the Sopor to solve this question. Okay, let's talk about the Sopor formula. So the solve formula is x1 plus x2 equals to negative b over a. And the Por formula is x1 times x2 equals c over a. All right. So let's look at this question. They give us the equation 3x squared minus 4x plus 9 equals 0. And they tell us the roots are alpha and beta. So that means roots is the x1 and x2, right? So x1 is alpha, x2 is beta. And you can already write down the sum of root alpha plus beta x1 plus x2, so alpha plus beta, equals to negative b over a. And the b is negative 4, the a is 3. That means alpha plus beta equals 4 over 3. And then the other one, por, will be x1 times x2 equals c over a. That means alpha times beta equals c over a. C is 9, a is 3. So alpha beta equals to 9 divided 3 is 3, right? But we will stop here and I haven't finished reading the question yet, right? Let's see what they want. Find the new quadratic equation. So you're finding another equation which have roots 1 over alpha, 1 over beta. Give your answer in general form. Lah. This one is general form, where a, b, and c are integers. So you have to form a new equation, but the new equation roots is 1 over alpha, 1 over beta. That means you have to do Sopor one more time, right? You have to do Sopor one more time. But when you do the Sopor for the second time, you don't have the ABC because you're trying to form the equation. So your solve for the new one will be what? 1 over alpha and 1 over beta. Okay, what? I need more space. So what should I do? Uh, okay, maybe I can move it like over up here. Okay, okay, I'll just move it over here. All right, so I will just put a line here, put another line here. So this time is x1 equals 1 over alpha, x2 equals 1 over beta. This is the roots for the new equation. So what will be the sum of root? It will be 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. And later we can use these two information to help us, right? So what is 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta? Okay, this one you can combine become single fraction, right? So what is how to make the denominator same? You take this one times beta, this one times beta, this one times alpha times alpha. So you get alpha beta down here, and then atas you dapat beta plus alpha. Okay, you just combine become single fraction. Oh, and one more thing for the SOR, for this SOR you cannot write negative b over a because you don't know the b and a. You cannot take the ba from this equation cannot, because the 1 over alpha and 1 over beta is not roots for this equation. Okay, the equation for these roots, you don't have it. You don't have it. That's why you don't, that's why I didn't write it. Okay, that's why we just straight away plus together, right? We are trying to find the BA actually. We don't have. Okay, for the alpha plus beta, beta plus alpha, we have already 4 over 3. And then divide with alpha times beta, which is 3. So remember to put bracket here, and if you press this in your calculator, you will get 4 over 9. Okay, now for the por, Por will be x1 times x2 equals c over a. So it'll be 1 over alpha times 1 over beta. And again, you don't have to write the c over a because you are trying to find the c and a for the equation. Okay, you cannot take the ca from here. That's another equation, right? The equation you are trying to form now is like you don't have, right? But it's okay. We can use this information to help us later. All right, what is 1 over alpha times 1 over beta? Just take atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah. So 1 times 1 is 1, alpha beta is like this. So it becomes 1 over alpha beta, just ganti masuk 3. Okay, now you have your SOR, you have your POR. Now you can form your equation. Okay, I forgot to tell you something. When you form equation, the formula will be like this. X squared minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. Yeah, so under SOPOR, these are the three things you need to know. Under SOPOR, the only three formulas you need to know. So this is the formula for SOR, the formula for POR, and this formula is when they ask you to form new equation, you will use this. So this question, we will use this lah, because they want you to form. So it will be x squared minus SOR, that means minus 4 over 9, x plus POR will be plus 1 over 3 equals 0. But it's don't write your answer like this, because I have fraction, right? So how can we get rid of the fraction? You jadikan denominator dia sama lah. So you make the denominator same. So this one is over 1. So what I can do is can just, let's see, just take everything times 9 lah. Take everything times 9. Because when you do that, then the 9 and the 3, yeah, you can get rid of fraction. So you become 9x squared. And then this one, when you times 9, you use 4x. And then when you take 1 over 3 times 9, you get 3. Okay. And then equals 0 lah. So this is your equation. 9x squared minus 4x plus 3. Okay, that's all. Okay. So hope you understand. Huh? Okay, let's go to number 5A. Okay, what it says here, determine whether the quantity below is a scalar quantity or vector quantity. Give your justification. Okay, let's talk about scalar quantity and vector quantity first. Scalar quantity means the quantity only has magnitude. And vector quantity means it has magnitude and direction. For example, distance, right? Distance, like for example, 5 kilometer, right? Is this a scalar quantity or vector quantity? This one is a scalar quantity because 5 kilometer is a magnitude. It doesn't have direction, right? But what if I say 5 kilometer to the west or to the east or to the north or to the south? Okay, like this. Then it's a vector quantity, and we call this displacement. Okay, we call this displacement, right? That means distance is a scalar quantity, but displacement is a vector quantity because the direction is attached in displacement. There is a direction. Direction is assigned to the magnitude. Okay. Okay. So for now, I will just mention it. I'll just explain like this. Now let's read the paragraph. Okay. During landing on the ground, paratroopers bend their legs. In this way, it is possible to reduce the impulse force by extending the impact time of the foot with the ground. Okay, so I think the quantity here is force or like impulse force, right? So what do you think? Force, is it a scalar quantity or vector quantity? It's a vector quantity. Okay, yeah, force memang vector quantity. Okay, because when you lift up something, you can lift up, you can put it down, right? Yeah, there's a direction. So force is a vector, and we can write down here impulse force is a vector quantity. Vector quantity. Okay, they say give a reason, right? So you can just write because it has magnitude and direction. Okay, so force is a vector quantity. Okay, now we can do B. Okay, let's read. Diagram 3 shows a triangle OPR. Okay, no problem. The straight line OQ and PS intersect at T. Let's check. OQ and PS intersect at T. Okay, nothing important here. Okay, let's see what they give here. Given that 5 OT equals to 2 OQ. Okay, this information is trying to tell us the ratio for OT OQ. Tapi ramai student yang tak pandai baca this. Okay, this one is actually they are trying to give us ratio. Okay, how can we take out the ratio from this? So you have to baca like this. OT 2, OQ 5. Okay, so it's like a rainbow punya format. So OT baca 2, OQ 2. Dia mesti baca macam ni, dalam dengan dalam, luar dengan luar. So OT ratio is 2, so I'm just going to go OT 2, and then OQ is 5. That means here is 3 lah. Because OQ is the whole thing. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So this is the ratio. Okay. And make sure you circle. When you label ratio, you have to circle it. Okay. Okay, sebenarnya ada cara lain. So cara lain is like, it's a bit slow lah. So the a bit slow punya cara is like you change to fraction. It means you move the OQ, pindah sini jadi bahagi OQ, and then here becomes 2 over 5. And then you change to OT ratio OQ equals 2 ratio 5 like this. But it's the same thing lah. OT 2, OQ 5. Yeah, it's the same, right? And it's a bit slow, right? That's why I don't prefer doing it like this. So you just remember, if they give you something like this, like equal, and then you just read it like a rainbow. Dalam dengan dalam, luar dengan luar. Okay, let's do this one more time. 8 PQ equals 3 PR. So it's like a rainbow format. So PQ is 3, PR is 8. So PQ 3, go to PQ, put 3, circle it because that's a ratio. PR 8. But PR is the whole thing, 8. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So this ratio is 5. Okay, now PR is 8x. You should label this. Okay, so PR, I will draw an extra line here. And then the arrow have to point towards R. Because this is a vector question. That means the direction is very important. So that's why you have to do the arrow. Okay, next one, OP is Y. So OP means the direction have to point at P. And then the vector is Y. Okay, now for this, PS, KPT, OSHR. Okay, this one cannot label because they never give us the value of K here, right? For example, if they give me PS equals to 3PT, then at least I can read the ratio PS ratio 3, PT ratio 1, right? Then at least I can label it. But now the problem is they just put the K there. So we don't know what is K. And that means that we don't know what's we cannot label this, right? We just know that it has K and H here, right? Okay, so now let's do question number 1. So they say express PS in terms of K, X, and Y. Okay, I'll use the space up here. So let me erase this. Okay, so let's do question 1 here. Oops. Okay, so question number 1. They want to find vector PS, but they did mention in terms of K, X, Y. And if you look at the whole diagram, there's no K here, right? There's no K here. The only place with K is this information, right? So this information yang sahaja yang ada K dekat sini. Okay, the rest information don't have K. So I think I have to use this information to do question 1. Then what about question 2? Question 2, they say in terms of H. So which information have H here? Not in the diagram, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. So where is it? This one, right? That means first question you have to use this information. Second question you have to use this information. Okay, that's what it means, right? Okay, let's do question 1 first. PS in terms of KXY, we have to use this information. But if you look at this information, they already say PS is KPT. So why not you just straight away write it like this, right? Because yang saya nak cari PS, yang dia bagi sini pun PS. So it's like sudah sama. So you just take K times PT. And now we just have to find vector PT. But they never give us the vector PT, right? So how can we find it? We can take PQ plus QT. Okay, PQ plus QT. You want to take PO plus OT can also. Okay, is it easier if I took PO plus OT? Okay, I think I'll take PO plus OT lah. Okay lah, let's take PQ plus QT lah. Actually, you do PO, OT also, you get the same answer. Okay, I'm just trying to see whether which one easier. Okay, but I will stick to this PQ plus QT. Okay, what is vector PQ? Okay, you can see that the vector PQ I don't have, right? I don't have the vector, but I have the ratio, which is 3, right? So vector PQ is actually 3 over 5, sorry, 3 over 8 of vector PR. Because P to Q is 3 portion of 8 portion. Total is 8 portion, 3 plus 5, right? And 3, so that's why PQ is 3 over 8 PR, right? And the PR we know is 8x. So why not we straight away put 8x here, right? And then after this, we can do this one, and then you will end up with K, and this will be 3x. That means PQ is 3x. That's what it means, right? But you still have to plus with QT. And now to find QT. Okay, QT I don't have, but I can do, okay, how to find QT? QP, okay, wait. PT, I do PQ plus QT. Let's see. Okay, for QT, I don't have the vector, but I can use the ratio, right? Because they give us the ratio 3 here. So QT is actually 3 portion out of how many portion? So the total here will be 3 plus 2, which is 5, right? Yeah, 5. That means QT is actually 3 over 5, 3 portion out of 5 portion, QO. Agree, right? Because it's like QT is 3 over 5, QO. But we don't have vector QO. Okay, it's okay because QO is actually QP plus PO, right? QP plus PO. Yeah, because QO ma. So QP plus PO, and we have both already. Okay, so I put bracket here. So it becomes 3 over 5 times QP plus PO. Okay, just now we already know vector PQ is 3x. Then what is QP? It will be negative 3x lah. Okay, I find it just now already, this 3x. And then vector PO will be negative y. Okay, so it will be minus y. Okay, y minus because the direction. So this vector OP is y, but I want PO. That's why it's negative y. And then you close the bracket. Okay, now we almost done already. It's just left with K. Okay, this 305 you have to expand inside. So it becomes 3x. Okay, 305 times negative 3 is negative 9 over 5x. 305 times negative is just negative 3 over 5y. Okay, okay, and then x dengan x boleh buat. So what is 3 minus 9 over 5? Okay, press calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 6 over 5. Okay, okay, so this answer is 6 over 5x minus 3 over 5y. And don't forget to times k. So the answer is 6 over 5kx minus 3 over 5ky. Okay, so this is your question 1 answer because they want in terms of kxy, right? So this is the answer in terms of kxy lah. Okay, now it's time to do question 2. Okay, where should I do it? Okay, let's do it here lah. Okay, question 2 says express PS in terms of HXY. And I told you already, question 2, you must use this information. Why? Because this is the only information that have H. If you want your answer in terms of H, you must look at this information. But the problem is they want us to find PS. And this information is information for OS. But what is the connection? Okay, so I want to go from P to S. But the information want us to use OS. So the connection here is S. So what we can do is we can go from P to O, then O to S. Because if you go like that, POOS, then later the OS you can sub with HOR, and then you will end up with your answer have H lah. Okay. And I repeat one more, I want to mention again, when you're doing question 2, you must use this information no matter what. Yeah, you must use this because there's no other way. If you jalan lain, your answer will not have H if you walk the other way. That's why it has to be PO plus OS. Okay? Jalan lain tak boleh. Because they already say in terms of H, that means you must passes through OS punya jalan. That's why the only way, the only working here, the satu saja cara untuk buat PO plus OS. Okay, okay, for vector PO, you know already is negative Y. Because OP is Y, so PO is negative Y. And then OS, you just use the information HOR. So now it becomes negative Y plus H. And then for vector OR, ada bagi tak? Tak bagi, tapi tak apa, I can go OP plus PR. Right? Because I have OP plus PR. So the answer would be negative Y plus H times OP, which is Y, and then plus PR, which is 8X. So when I expand, it will become HY plus 8HX, and then here is negative Y plus. Okay, but I don't like to write my answer like this. Okay, so I will write 8HX. Okay, for the Y, I will factorize it out like this. And then inside I'll write negative 1 plus H. You understand, right? I just divide Y. So negative Y, when I factorize, is left with negative 1. HY, take out Y, left with H. So this is the answer for question number 2. Okay. Okay, now there's one more question. Okay, I need more space. Uh, okay, wait. Okay, let me make this smaller. Okay, let's do question 3 here. So they say find the value of H and K, right? Okay, if you look at question 1 and question 2, you are both finding vector PS, right? Question number 1 is vector PS, question number 2 also vector PS. That means these two answer you can compare, or you can say like they can equal lah. Okay, it's the only difference is this one is in terms of K, this one is in terms of H. That's the only difference, right? But they are the same vector. So you can compare both. And how do we compare? You compare the coefficient of X with the coefficient of X. So nombor depan X compare dengan nombor depan X. So when you connect them, it will be like this. 6 over 5K equals to 8H. And then you compare the number in front of Y. So what is the coefficient of Y? Negative 3 over 5K. This one is negative 1 plus H. And then when you connect them, negative 3 over 5K equals to negative 1 plus H. Okay? It means you do simultaneous lah. Later you do simultaneous, right? So what I did just now is I just compare these two, right? Why we can compare? Why we can say this thing equal to this? Because they are both vector PS, right? Okay, now we have to do simultaneous. And me, if I am you, I will do substitution method. Okay, so the way I do it is like I try to find H single here and then ganti masuk. Right, I use the penggantian cara lah, substitution. Okay, when I find H, the 8 have to move here. So what is 6/5 divide 8? You will end up with 3/20. Okay, you can use your calculator. Okay, so sekarang you have to ganti this H inside this H. So it becomes -3/5k equals to -1 plus H. And then for the H, you just sub 3/20k. Now you can find K, but you will pindah. Okay, if I'm you, I will pindah this one there so that my K is positive. It means the -1, I move it here, become +1. So now I press calculator, 3/20k minus hantar jadi plus 3/5k. Okay, what is 3/20 plus 3/5? So times 4 times 4, 12, 12 plus 3, 15. So it becomes 1 equals 15/20k. But 15/20 is 3/4, right? So now k is equals to 4/3. Okay, because 1 times 4 divide 3, so 4/3. So this is your k answer. And what about your h answer? You have to sub back inside this equation. So it'll be 3/20 times k, which is 4/3. Okay, so you can cut. So your h answer would be 4/20, which is 1/5. Okay, so let's make this smaller. Okay, so your h answer here would be 4/20, which is 1/5. So now you have your hk answer and then done already. So this is your answer. H is 1/5, k is 4/3. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's keep going. I will do number 6 now. Okay, number 6, this is given y equals to x5 minus x. Okay, I think I will expand this equation right away because I see it's a differentiation question already. And before we differentiate, kalau boleh expand, kena expand dulu, kena kembang dulu. Before we differentiate, kalau boleh kembang, kena kembang dulu. So I'll just kembang straight away. 5 times x is 5x. Negative x times x is negative x squared. And then now it says express this one plus 15 in simplest form. Okay, before we express this in simplest form, we need to find out dy dx and d2y over dx2 first, right? Kita kena dapatkan dy dx and d2y dx2 dulu. Then baru kita boleh masuk dalam ni, right? So let's find out our dy dx. Okay, when you differentiate 5x, you get 5. When you differentiate negative x squared, it's just negative 2x. Okay, you just take power darab depan, power minus 1. So 2 times -1, -2, power minus 1 is power 1. Okay, that's your dy dx. But what is your d2y dx2? Okay, this one we call it second derivative. It means you differentiate dua kali. So you just take dy dx, differentiate sekali lagi. Okay, when you differentiate 5 is 0. So remember, when you differentiate number is 0. And then when you differentiate negative 2x, it's just negative 2 x power 0. But x power 0 is like, you don't need to write because x power 0 is 1. So this is your second derivative answer. Okay, now you can ganti masuk dalam ni, right? So when you ganti masuk, it becomes what? Y d2y dx2 plus dy over dx squared plus 15, right? So what happens here? For the dy dx here, you can ganti this one lah, dy dx 5 minus 2x. So write 5 minus 2x. And then for the d2y dx2, this one, you can ganti -2, right? But put bracket. And then for the y here, you can ganti 5x minus x squared, but put bracket. You have to put bracket so that you know it's like times. You kena darab. Okay. Okay, so now you just take -2 times 5x, -10x, -2 times negative x squared plus 2x squared. And then the 5 minus 2x squared, you can expand, kembangkan. And the way to do it is like this. You will take a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, you remember this? So this is what I will do. So first you will take whatever in front and square it. So 5 squared is 25. And then you will take whatever in front and whatever at the back times and then times 2. Because like AB times 2. So it will be 5 times -2x, -10x, times 2 will be -20x. Okay. And then plus with b square. B square will be -2x squared, which is plus 4x squared. And then plus 15 lah. Because here they got right plus 15. Right? Okay, what is 2x squared plus 4x squared? 6x squared. What is -10x minus 20x? -30x. 25 plus 15 plus 40. Right? So this is your answer. Okay? They only ask you to express in simplest form, right? So yeah, this is the simplest form. Okay, you don't have to do anything else. Finish already. This is the answer. Okay, because they only want us to express in simplest form. So this is how it looks like in the simplest form. Okay, let's do B. Okay, B, they says the area of square with side x increase at the rate of 3. Okay, when I see the word rate, I know this is a rate of change question. Dalam bahasa Melayu, kadar perubahan, right? So in differentiation, there's actually um, a few things you need to know, right? So it's like got 5 category. So first one is like tangent normal. That's the first thing you learn, right? Tangent normal, gradient normal, equation tangent, equation normal. Second thing you learn is the minimum point, maximum point, or sometimes you call it turning point or stationary point, but it's like all the same meaning, lah. Okay. And then the third one you learn is rate of change, which is the question B right here. And then the fourth type is like small change, perubahan kecil, right? And then the last one is limit. Okay. So got 5 category. Okay. But this question is a rate of change, right? Okay, so let me erase this. Okay, now I will show you how to do rate of change question. Okay, for rate of change question, you kena tahu kalau dia mention perkataan rate, it means dia over dt. So if I say area of square increase at the rate of 3, it means dA over dt equals to 3. It means I let A represents area of square. Okay, area of square. And then t is the time lah, right? But we do know that the side of the square is xcm. So let's draw a square and label x, right? Okay, now they say find the rate of change of side. It means they are trying to find dx over dt lah, because the side is x, right? And then they said rate, find rate. That's why it's over dt and then question mark, because this is the final answer. And then they say when the area is 9. So I already let the area to represent, let A represent area. So if they say area is 9 means A equals 9. And don't forget the x represents side of square, right? Okay, for rate of change question, I will always teach my student to kosongkan tempat ni dulu, and then go beside here, you will draw something like this. Line equals to line darab line. And then sini dengan sini, you will always write dt. Okay, this is how I teach my own student. Okay, and then I will tell them, yang ni dengan yang ni sama, yang ni dengan yang ni sama. Okay, so this one and this one mesti same, this one and this one mesti same, right? But macam mana nak tahu sini kena tulis apa? Okay, you will look at your information. This is dA dt, this is dx dt. So dt I already write here and here, right? So that means you left with dA and dx saja yang belum tulis, right? So if this is dA, then this will be dA because I told you this and this same, and then these two will be dx because these two will be the same also, right? But ada juga possibility dx, dA, right? But let me tell you, it will be better if you write dA, dx. You know why? Because A represents area of square, X represents side of square. And when you write your equation, later you will the equation will be A in terms of X, not X in terms of A. Because usually you use the side to find area, not the other way. The formula for area of square later will be X times X, right? That's why it's A in terms of X. That's why it's better to write dA like this so that the middle part becomes dA dx. Okay. So now for the dA dt, you know it's 3 already. And then the dx dt, this is the final answer, right? The final answer. This is what I want to find at the end. So what I have to find now? What I have to find now? dA dx lah. But in order to find dA dx, we need the equation A in terms of x first. So A is area of square, x is side of square. And how to find side of square? How to find area using the side of square? You will take x times x, right? That's how you find area. So now you understand, right? Why instead of writing dx, dA, why I write dA, dx? Because I know the equation will be like this. Excuse me. So now I can differentiate and I'll get 2x. But don't write the 2x inside here. Don't. You have to make sure you substitute the x value inside. Right? You have to substitute the x value. And the question will give you the x value. Okay. They got give us something here, A equals 9. But you don't tell me you go and put 9 like this. It's wrong. This 9 is not the x, is the area, is the A. So what you have to do is you have to ganti masuk dalam equation yang first punya equation, this equation, to get your x value first. That means A equals to x square, but the A is 9, right? That means x square equals to 9, right? Because A is x square. And then you cari x dulu. And when you find x, you will get square root 9, which gives you 3, right? That means your x is 3. So here gonna ganti 3. Okay, actually square root got two answer, 3 and negative 3, right? But the x now represents side, panjang. So panjang memang tak ada negative. That's why I ignore the negative answer. So you just have one answer, positive 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And this 6 you can ganti masuk. And when you ganti masuk, now you can find the answer for dx dt. It will be 3 over 6. So the final answer, dx over dt, will be 3 over 6, which is 1 over 2. And for the unit, it will be cm s minus 1. Because x is the panjang for the side. So it will be cm. T is the time, second. But since dia duduk bawah, so minus 1 lah. Okay? Okay, that's all. All right, let's do question number 7. I think this is circular measure question also. Okay, let's read the question first. Diagram 4 shows the circular pattern on the wall tiles using 8 congruent sectors. What is congruent? Congruent means same size and same shape. It means they are identical lah. Okay, that's not how you spell shape. Same size, same shape. So everything here is like same size. 8 congruent sectors. Okay, let's find out where's the sector. Okay, let's use a highlighter. Okay, where's the sector? So this one, right? This one, this one, this one. This is the first sector, right? And then the second sector is like maybe like this. So now got two sector. And then here also got two sector, two sector, two sector, two sector. So got eight sector lah. I think that's what they meant, right? And then they say with a radius of 10 cm. That means, okay, let's use this one. So like this, like this, like this, right? And then the radius is like 10, 10. And this will be 90. Yeah, this will be 90, right? Okay, so now this says find area of shaded region. Use pi 3.142. Okay, the shaded region is this, right? So what we can do, let's see. Okay, if you look at this sector, this red color sector, and if you tarik one line like this, what do we call this shape? We call it segment, right? Yeah, this one we call it segment, and there is a formula you can use to find area of segment. The area of segment formula is 1 over 2 r square bracket theta minus sine theta. This is the formula. Okay. In Bahasa Melayu, segment is tembereng. Yeah, the tembereng of the garis luas tembereng. Okay. And ini formula untuk cari luas tembereng. So what we can do is we can find the area of segment first and then darab 8. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tembereng with the same size, right? So I'll find area of one tembereng first. So here I'll write area of shaded region. The area of one tembereng formula is 1 over 2 r square, and the r is 10, right? And then here I will masuk theta minus sine theta. But this theta has to be in degree. Sebab dia ada sine depan, dia ada trigo depan. This theta is in radian, okay? Because there's no trigo depan lah. Okay, so the angle will be 90 degree, but the 90 degree you will put it here. Yeah, the sine 90. But for this one, you have to convert to radian. And how we do that? We have to take 90 times 3.142 divide 180. Okay, that's how you convert degree to radian. You darab pi over 180. And they want us to use pi 3.142. So if you press this, what you get? Potong bagi 2. So 3.142 divide 2, let's press. Okay, my calculator give me 1.571 radian, right? Okay, so now you have to times 8 here lah, right? Because I told you already, this is area for one segment. So you have to end up darab 8. So now it becomes 8 times. Okay, let's press all this in my calculator. 1.571 minus sine 90 and then times 100 divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 28.55, but this is area of one segment only. You have to times 8 to get the total area of shaded region, right? Okay, my calculator give me 228.4. Okay, so that's the answer lah. 228.4 cm square. Okay, so hope you understand. Okay, let me explain a bit. This formula actually come from 1 over 2 r square theta minus 1 over 2 r square sine theta. Because when you're trying to find segment, when you're trying to find the segment, you are actually taking the area of sector minus the area of triangle, right? And for area of sector is 1 over 2 r squared theta, right? And when you minus area of triangle, you can use the formula 1 over 2 AB sine C. AB sine C. But since your AB are both radius, that's why it's like R times R, so R squared. And then sine C will be sine theta lah. That's why it's this formula. Okay? It's just that if you do it like this, it's faster lah. But actually this formula come from here. Yeah, it comes from taking the I just want you to know that this formula sebenarnya datang dari mana? Is actually you take the triangle area of sector minus the area of triangle. Okay? So when you factorize out the 1 over 2 r square, you will left with theta minus sine theta like this, which is the formula I used just now. Okay? Okay, so that's all. Okay, let's continue with question number 8 here. Solution by scale drawing and vectors are not accepted. Okay, ini tak penting. The coordinate of A given, B 25 given, C also given, everything given. Soalan A, find the straight line equation that passes through point A and the midpoint of BC. Whenever you see find straight line equation in Addmaths, you will always use this formula, y minus y1 equals gradient x minus x1. Okay, this is how you find equation in Addmaths. You will use this formula. Actually, you can use another method, which is y equals mx plus c. Okay, but usually in Addmaths, we will use this formula. Okay, this one, y minus y1. But if you use the y equal mx plus c, you will get the same answer. Yeah, okay. All right, but can you tell me, if you want to use this formula, what you need to have? You need to have two things. You need to have gradient and point, right? You need to have m, which is the gradient, and the point x1, y1. And the x1, y1 has to be a point yang ada passes through. Dia kena point yang passes through. Kalau tak ada passes through, tak boleh. So can you tell me, did they tell us this straight line passes through siapa? Yes, they said passes through point A, which means later for the x1, y1, saya boleh guna 0, 1. But masalahnya, dia tak bagi gradient, right? Dia tak bagi m gradient. So I have to find m gradient first. And how do we find gradient? Well, they said that this straight line passes through A and midpoint of BC. So that means it will passes through A01 and passes through midpoint of BC. So let's find out what's the midpoint of BC first, right? Okay, so what is the formula to find midpoint? The formula is x plus x divided 2, y plus y divided 2. So B and C, it will be x plus x, 2 plus 6, and then y plus 5 plus negative 1. And you will end up with 4 here. 5 minus 1 is 4, 4 divided 2 is 2. That means this straight line passes through 0, 1 and 4, 2. And when you have two coordinate, can you find gradient? Yeah, you can find gradient now, right? Because they said that this straight line passes through point A and midpoint of BC. That means when you have two coordinate on the line, that means you can find the gradient of the line, right? Because that's how you find gradient. You take any 2 points on the line and then you take y minus y, x minus x. So y minus y, 2 minus 1 over 4 minus 0. This is how you find gradient. Okay, you end up with 1 over 4. Okay, now you have gradient and now you have the point yang passes through. Now you can put in this formula. So it'll be y minus y1 equals gradient x minus x1. Okay, but actually you can do it fast actually, because this 0, 1 is already the y-intercept. So the answer is y equals 1 over 4x plus 1. This is the answer. Okay. The reason is because you already have your m and c. Your gradient is 1 over 4x. And how I know this is the c is because the x coordinate is 0. That means this is automatic, the y-intercept already. So you just straight away write y equal mx plus c. Okay. But it's okay lah. Since I'm already halfway here, I will show you that is the same answer, because you will get the same also later. Okay, I'll just show you here. So the gradient is 1 over 4. And then for the x minus x1, it will be x minus 4 lah. Okay, because it passes through 4, right? And then y minus y, it will be y minus 2. Okay, okay, if you don't want to use the 4, 2, you can use the 0, 1 for your x1, y1. Boleh juga. Sebab dia ada passes through juga. So boleh guna point ni juga. Okay, actually both also got passes through. That's why for the x1, y1, you can choose. Because dua-dua pun ada passes through. Maksudnya you masuk any one of these also, you get the same answer. Okay, now let's do this. It will become y minus 2 equals 1 over 4 times x, 1 over 4x, times negative 4 will be negative 1. And then minus 2 hantar, jadi 1 over 4x, negative 1 plus 2 is just plus 1. And you can see this answer is same with the answer I mentioned just now, right? Yeah, but this one is because it's lucky lah, because they give us the y-intercept step already. Okay. But if they never give us the y-intercept, then we have to do it like this also. We have to do it using this method. It's just that this question, kebetulan, is like lucky lah. They already give us the y-intercept. That's why I can do it fast. Okay. Okay, now for B, they want us to find area of triangle ABC. So just use the area formula lah. This is coordinate geometry, right? And in coordinate geometry, how you find area of triangle? First, you have to make sure you need to have coordinate for all the vertices first. So do you have ABC coordinate? Yes. So how to find the area? The formula is 1/2 modulus, and you put in all the coordinate inside the modulus. And when you put it in, you have to write like this: 0 atas, 1 bawah, and then the next one 2, 5, next one 6, -1. And before you tutup the modulus, you have to repeat the first one, which is 0, 1. And now you can start to multiply. You can start to darab. Okay, when you darab, always start dari atas. Okay, always start dari atas and then you silang. Okay, mesti silang. Okay, what is 0 times 5? 0. Okay, 0 tak payah tulis. And then tambah 2 times -1, -2. And then tambah 6 times 1, 6. And then tolak. Okay, why suddenly tolak? Because you have to change direction now. Right? Because you darab macam ni, is like darab tambah, darab tambah, darab tambah. But when you change direction, you have to minus. You have to tolak. So tolak dengan 1 times 2, 2. Tolak. 5 times 6, 30. Tolak. -1 times 0 is 0. And usually 0, saya takkan tulis. Okay, so that's all lah. So now I can just press -2 plus 6 minus 2 minus 30 and see what I get. Okay, -28. If you press calculator, you get this. Okay, now what is modulus -28? It will be positive 28, and then divide 2 is just 14. And make sure you write unit square, because this is area, right? Okay, that's all. Sudah siap. Okay, now we want to do C, right? Okay, C is a locus question. Okay, I think I need more space here. So let me kecilkan this. Okay, okay, let's do C now. Okay, so I will write my C working. I'll do it here lah. Okay, so what they want here, find equation of locus of moving point P. So my P is the moving point, XY, such that distance from A and C are the same. That means P will be a perpendicular bisector, because the distance from A and C are the same. So if this is point A, this is point C, point P will be directly middle like this. It means if I join a line AC, this line will be the perpendicular bisector. It will be 90° and it will intersect at the midpoint, right? So what they want is they want to find equation of locus, right? It means they are asking you to find the equation of perpendicular bisector. Okay, ada dua cara untuk buat soalan ni. First method is you use the distance formula. Okay, you use the distance formula. And how you do that? You use distance of AP equals to distance of PC. And then you use the distance formula, find the equation of perpendicular bisector. Another method is you use this formula. The y minus y1, oh, the y minus y1 equals the gradient x minus x1 formula. But for this formula, you need to find the gradient and the point yang passes through, right? Okay, for the gradient, you can find gradient of AC, and then you use the formula m1 times m2 equals -1, because the two lines are perpendicular, right? So you can find the gradient of this line, and then to get the perpendicular bisector gradient is like m1 times m2 equals -1 lah. And then you just pindah to get the other line gradient. And then for the x1, y1, you need to get the midpoint of AC, because the perpendicular bisector only passes through the midpoint, right? But this method is a bit slow, so I will not use this method to explain. So I will use the distance formula. So let me just erase all this. So now I will start doing it. So they said distance from A and C order uh, always the same. So it means the PA jarak and the PC jarak is always same, right? Because A and C is the fixed point. P is the point that is like always same distance with A, and PC always same, right? So now I'll use the distance formula. So what's the distance formula? Do you know? The distance formula is square root, bracket square plus bracket square. Here also same, bracket square plus bracket square. And inside the first bracket, you have to write x minus x. And then the other one, you have to write y minus y. Okay, this one is PA. So I need the coordinate of A and C now. So what's the coordinate of A? 0, 1. What's the coordinate of C? 6, -1. Okay, sini ya. Okay, so now go back here. So how to find distance of PA? It will be x minus x, which is x minus 0. and then y minus 1, right? And then for the other one would be distance of PC. So x minus 6, and then y minus y, which is y minus -1, y plus 1. Okay, now how to get rid of the square root? You can square both sides. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get rid of the square root. So when you square both sides, the square root and square, you can cancel, you can cut, right? So you're left with this x minus 0, which is x, and then square is just x square. And then the y minus 1 square, you can expand. And when you expand, you become y square. And then -1y times 2 is -2y. And then -1 square is +1. Okay. Same with this. When you expand, you have to take depan square, depan darab belakang darab 2, and then belakang square. So depan square is x square. Depan darab belakang -6x, darab 2 -12x. Belakang square is -6 square plus 36. Plus with same thing, depan square, y square. Depan darab belakang 1y times 2, 2y. Belakang square plus 1. Right? Okay. I need space here. So let me erase this. Okay, now how to continue? You have to arrange, right? You have to arrange everything on one side and then equals 0, right? Okay, so what is x squared minus x squared? 0. What is y squared minus y squared? 0. So left with x and y only lah. Okay, but the x, the only term with x is this, -12x. So when you move it over here, it becomes +12x. And then the next thing you have to write is y. But there's y here, -2y, but there is also y here, +2. So +2 when you bring in front becomes -2. So what is -2 minus 2? -4y. And then last thing is the number, which is 1. And then 36 plus 1 is 37. But you have to move, become -37. What is 1 minus 37? -36. So this is your answer. Okay, but wait, 12, 4, and 36, all these numbers can divide 4, right? So you can simplify this by dividing 4. So when you divide 4, you get 3. Divide 4, you get 1. Divide 4, you get 9. So this is your answer. This is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Okay? Because I told you already, right? The locus P will be a perpendicular bisector. It's actually a straight line. Okay? This locus is actually a straight line, cutting A and C in the middle. Okay? Because they say distance same, right? If the distance not same, if they give you ratio, and if the ratio is different, then it's not a straight line lah. Okay. Okay, so that's how you do it. Yep, that's all. Okay, let's continue with question number 9. Okay, number 9, A. Find the number of odd numbers that can be formed from all the digits 5, 2, 4, 6, 8 with all the digits except 5 appearing exactly twice. Okay, I think this is a permutation combination question from 5 chapter 4, right? Okay, first thing first, we have to look at all the options we have first, right? So what are all the options? 5, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8. Because they say here, find number of odd numbers. Okay, don't look at the condition first. Okay, so they say form from all the digits with all the digits except 5 appearing exactly twice. It means all the digits appear twice except 5 lah. So this is what it means. So 5, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8. All the digits appear twice except 5, right? So this is all your option. But now they said find number of odd numbers that can be formed, right? So got how many options? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9, right? But they said form from all the digits. So there should be 9 slot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. But they said number of odd numbers form. So this is the condition, odd numbers. That means the final digit here, the last digit here should be an odd number. And the only odd number in your option is 5. The rest all is like even number. So that means the 5 can only go in the last digit. It cannot go into other place, because if it goes in the other place, then your final result won't be a odd number, and that is not correct already. So that means this will be 1p1, right? This will be 1p1, or you can say 1 factorial lah. Same thing lah, 1p1, 1 factorial. Okay, times with, okay, what about this? Okay, there's how many digit left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then how many slot? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 digit, you arrange into 8 different slot, it will be 8 factorial or 8p8, right? But you have to divide with, because there is like identical object, you can see got repetition, right? Got repeat. So it will be 2 repeat 2 times. So you have to take 2 factorial. 4 also repeat 2 times, 2 factorial again. 6 2 times, 2 factorial again. 8 repeat 2 times, 2 factorial again. Right? Because you learned before, right? When you are doing permutation with identical object, your formula would be n factorial over a factorial, b factorial, c factorial. Where the ABC stands for what? ABC represents number of identical object, right? So if you have more than one set, because got 4 set of identical object now, 4 set, right? The first set is like 2, and the number of identical is 2 factorial. And then this one also, the other set yang identical, the other set. That's why it's like 2 bahagi 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. So when you press this, you will get your answer. Okay. Okay. So you wait for me. Let me press in my calculator. So let me press divide 2, divide 2, divide 2, divide 2. Okay, I'm done. My calculator gives me 2520. So that is the number of ways form odd numbers from all the digits. All right. Okay, so 2 marks only. Okay, let's do B now. Diagram 5 shows 3 straight lines, L1, L2, L3. Okay, 3 lines. It is given that 3 points lie on L1. Okay, where's L1? This one, right? So is it got 3 points? And then the next one is 3 points lie on L2. So 1, 2, 3. Lie on means like it's on the line lah. Okay. Okay, 2 points lie on L3. So 2 points only on L3. Okay. If the points from each line are used to form a polygon, so what's the meaning? Points from each line. It means that it has to be how to say? 3 lines are used lah. It means like it can be like this, right? It can be like this, right? But it cannot be like this. Because if you like this, then it's like one of the line is not used already. So they did mention here each line are used, right? So it means like every line have to use at least 1 point. Okay. All the garisan punya point kena sekurang-kurangnya kena guna 1 point in each garisan. Okay, now we understand the question. Now let's do one. Find number of triangles that can be formed. Okay, triangle, there's only 3 lines, right? And if you want to use all the lines, that means all the lines can only choose 1 point from each line, right? So that means if you choose one here, it will be 3C1, choose one here, it will be 3C1, and choose one here, it will be 2C1. And then you just times them together, and you'll get 18, and that's the answer. Yeah. You cannot tell me like, oh, sir, what about if I choose 2 here, and then here I choose 1? Cannot. Because if you do like that, it's like you never, because they say already, points from each line are used. It means that you need to make sure at least 1 point is used in all 3 lines. Okay, so all the lines here, you have to use at least 1 point. So if you do like that, it means you are not using the third line. That is why we don't include those options. Okay, now for question 2, quadrilaterals that can be formed. Okay, we all know quadrilateral have 4 vertices, right? 4 vertices. So what we have to do, make sure we choose 4 points lah. So what we can do is here, we can choose how many points? 3C. Okay, let me ask you, can I take 3C3? Cannot, like, because if I choose 3, then it would be like a straight line. And then if you choose any one here, it form a triangle. If you go there also, it form a triangle, right? And also, you have to use up all 3 lines. So definitely cannot be 3C3, but it can be 3C2. But if it's 3C2, that means that here has to be 3C1, okay? And then here has to be 2C1. Because you want to cukupkan 4 vertex. You nak cukupkan 4 point. So maksudnya sini pilih 2, sini pilih 1, sini pilih 1. So 2 tambah 1 tambah 1 dapatlah 4 point. Okay. But this is not the only option. You have to plus with apa lagi option yang lain. Okay, you can also go 3 here and you choose 2. Wait, let me think. You choose 1, right? 3, you only choose 1. And then let me think. 3 choose 1. And then this 3 you choose 2, right? And then this 2 choose 1. This is another option also, right? Ini dengan ni tak sama, right? And then plus with, okay, ada lagi tak? Uh, okay, another one is 3C1. Okay, 3C1. And this one I choose, okay, wait. Okay, just now this one I choose 2, right? 3C2, 3C1, 3C2 times 3C1 times 2C1. 3C1 times 3C2 times 2C1. Okay, just now I choose this one. This one I choose what? From 3 here I choose 1, right? And then from 3 here I choose 2, right? And then here I choose 1. But I can also here 3C1, but the next one I choose 1 only. Can also, right? This one I choose 1. And then these two I choose both. Like that also possible, right? To form a quadrilateral. Yeah, it's possible also. Okay. So yeah, this is the only 3 option. Okay. So now we use calculator and then plus everything. Okay, what is 3C2? 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 2, 18. Plus 3C1 is 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 2, 18 also. And then 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 18 plus 18, 36 plus 9, 45. Okay. You can use your calculator to help you. All right. So that's the answer. Okay, let's do number 10. So this is a differentiation question. It is given that d dx, this one equals to fx, find integrate 3fx. Okay, don't look at what they want first. Don't look at what they want first. Look at the information first. They mention differentiate siapa? Differentiate yang ini dapat fx. So the process here is differentiate. That means when you integrate, you will get it back. And when you integrate siapa? You integrate fx dx. You will dapat balik 2x over 1 minus 3x minus 5. Another way to explain it is like you imagine this d, you move it over there. So it becomes what? D over dx. This one equals to fx, right? So when you move the d over, when you move it over, it becomes the integrate. And then this dx, when you pindah sana, dia duduk atas macam ni. Right? That is why integrate fx dx will give you back the bracket, which is this one lah. Okay, can understand, right? Okay, all right. So I will just leave it like this. Okay, now only I will look at what the question wants. So the question wants integrate from -2 to 1, 3 fx dx. Okay, obviously what they want is not the same with this, right? It's not the same, right? So I cannot just write this as my answer, because it's not the same. This one is integrate fx. This one is integrate 3fx. So the 3 kacau. So how can we do? Okay, the 3 you can letak depan like this, right? Yeah, you can put it in front like this. If it's times, kalau dia darab lah, kalau dia times relationship, you boleh letak depan. Okay? And then now you can put it in already. Integrate fx dx. See this one? Straight away put it in, right? So masukkan, dia akan jadi 2x over 1 minus 3x minus 5. But wait, this is a definite integral. -2, 1. So you have to write the number. Okay, in Bahasa Melayu, this one we call it kamiran tentu. Kamiran tentu means like the other numbers ini. It means you have to make sure you sub the number inside later lah. So it becomes 3 big bracket, small bracket minus small bracket. Macam ni. Okay. Okay, the first bracket here is for you to sub 1 inside. The second bracket is for you to sub -2 inside. Right? And then later have to minus. Right? Okay, when you sub 1, it becomes 2 times 1 over 1 minus 3 times 1 minus 5. When you sub -2, it becomes 2 times -2 over 1 minus 3, -2 minus 5. Okay, now we can calculate this in my calculator. Okay, 2 over 1 minus 3 is -2, which is -1 minus 5, -6. Right? Okay, minus. This one is -4, 1 plus 6, 7. So -4 over 7 minus 5. Okay, my calculator give me -39 over 7. But there's another minus here. So later minus minus jadi plus. So it becomes -6 plus 39 over 7. So let me press plus 39 over 7. Okay, my calculator give me -3 over 7. So far, this is how it looks like. And then I have to times 3, right? So when you times 3, you get -9 over 7. So the answer is -9 over 7. Okay? Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's do number 11. A curve with gradient function. Okay, I already know it's a differentiation question. Yeah, because this word only comes out in differentiation, pembezaan. Okay, so gradient function, you need to know is dy dx. If you don't know, you cannot do this question, right? So make sure now you know gradient function means dy dx. So dy dx is what? X minus 27 over x squared. And then it says that has a stationary point. Stationary point means turning point. So when you do turning point question, you have to remember dy dx equals 0. Okay, because turning point is when your gradient tangent equals to 0. And when your gradient tangent equals 0 means dy dx equals 0. And then they say the turning point is m3. So they say find value of m, right? So what you do now is you just ganti dy dx equals 0 lah. When dy dx equals 0, and then you find the x coordinate. And the x coordinate will be the m. Yeah, the x coordinate will be the m, right? Because they already said the starting point is m3, right? It means when you do dy dx equals 0, the x value will be the same with m here. So you just start to take x minus 27 over x squared equals to 0, but the x will be the m. So what you do now is you will pindah. Okay, if I am you, I will pindah the negative become positive like this. And then I'll move this up here becomes m power 3. Because m times m squared will be m power 3 equals 27. And then if you want to find m, you will punca kuasa 3 ataupun cube root. And when you cube root 27, you get 3. 3. Okay. So the m is 3. Okay, so now I know my turning point. It's 3, 3, right? Okay, now I have to do B. So B says what? Determine the nature of a stationary point. Okay, nature means they want you to write minimum, whether it's a minimum point or maximum point or inflection point. So what is minimum point? Minimum point is when your second derivative equals 0, right? So how do you know, sorry, bigger 0, sorry. So when your second derivative bigger than 0. So how you know whether your turning point is a minimum, maximum or inflection? You do second derivative. Okay, you do the d2y dx2. If your second derivative positive, minimum. What if your second derivative negative? Smaller than 0, means it's a maximum. And what if your second derivative is equal 0? It means it's an inflection point. And for inflection point, you have to use tangent sketching method. Tangent sketching method, right? But this one jarang keluar dalam exam. Jarang keluar. Tapi pernah keluar. Because I did trial 2023 before, and I don't remember which state paper, and dia pernah keluar the tangent sketching method. Okay, but it's not always come out lah. But it pernah come out before. Okay. Uh, so let's do this question. Determine the nature of a stationary point. So the stationary point is 3, 3. So what we have to do now is do the second derivative. Okay, so we already know the dy dx is x minus 27 over x squared, which is x minus 27. You should bring the x atas, become x power negative 2. Why you have to bring the x atas is because you want to differentiate this again. Because second derivative means like you do dy dx dua kali, right? So it's like you take the dy dx and differentiate again. So when you differentiate x, you will get 1. When you differentiate this, you will take negative 2 times negative 27, which is positive 54. And then the power have to minus 1, negative 3, like this. So you end up with 1 plus 54 over x cubed. But if you want to check whether it's positive or negative, you have to sub the x inside, right? And the x you have to sub with your turning point punya x coordinate, which is 3. So you will sub like this, and then you will know whether it's minimum, maximum, or inflection. So 1 plus 54 divided 27 is just 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, right? Okay, so you can, now you know already, 3 is positive or negative? Positive, right? Bigger than 0. So bigger than 0, it means what? When your second derivative bigger than 0 means it's a minimum, right? So this means it's a minimum. So that means, what is the nature of the stationary point? The 3, 3, the stationary point is 3, 3. So 3, 3 is a minimum point. Okay, is a minimum point. Okay, that means it's not a maximum point, it's not an inflection point. Okay, but I want to mention again, this inflection point, you have to use a different method. Okay, and this method is like lebih susah compared to the second derivative punya cara. But I don't want to go into details. All right, so I'll just leave it here lah, because this question the answer is minimum, right? So yeah, okay. If you want the explanation for inflection point, you can go to my trial 2023, but I forgot which set lah. You have to find it yourself lah. Okay, but it's like I remember one of the state paper pernah tanya lah. Okay, okay. So I'll just leave it here. Okay, let's move on. Okay, number 12. Let's do number 12. In a survey, it is found that 3 out of 4 brand A car have a lifespan more than 4 years. So we can say that the probability of what? Lifespan more than 4 years. So lifespan more than 4 years is 3 out of 4, right? 3 over 4. So what is the probability of lifespan not more than 4 years? Not more than 4 years will be 1 over 4. Okay, because total probability is always 1. So if they give you one probability, you can always find the other probability. Okay, now they say a sample consisting of n car tires, brand A is chosen. If the probability of all the car tire lasted more than 4 years is 0.5625, find the value of n. Okay, this is definitely Form 5 chapter, probability distribution chapter. Okay, taburan kebarangkalian. Okay, the topic name is taburan kebarangkalian, probability distribution. And this is a binomial distribution question. Okay, and for binomial, you need to always write down your NPQ kalau ada bagi. So N memang tak bagi, but the P and Q they give us already. But the problem here is which one is P, which one is Q? You have two probability here. Is it P3 over 4 or P1 over 4? Okay, the way I teach my student is you see what they give us in the last baris. So they say here probability that all car tire lasted more than 4 years is 0.5625. That means the probability of success will be car tire that last more than 4 years. That means 3 over 4 would be the probability of success. Because car tire last more than 4 years is the probability of success. So probability of success is probability of car tire last more than 4 years, which is 3 over 4. And then Q is 1 over 4, right? And they already said the probability is 0.5625, right? But we don't have the N. Okay, we don't have the N. But they give us the probability. So we know Px equals to N equals to 0.5625. Okay, even if I don't know the N, but I know that this 0.5625 is the probability of all success. All success. So let's assume that the N is 5, right? The N is 5. That means this probability will be the probability for Px equals 5 if the N is 5. Because if the N is 5 means maybe 0 success, 1 success, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But this is the probability for all success, so definitely is 5, right? But what if I assume the N is 4? Then this probability will be Px equals 4 lah, right? Okay. But the one is, I just assume saja lah. I just assume is 4 and 5. It's not 4 and 5, right? So we have to anggap dia macam N lah, because we don't know. So even though we don't know, we know that the N will NCN. Because every time you use the formula we use is Px equals to X equals to NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. But since the probability this time is the probability for all success, that means the N here and the X here will be the same value. That's why I write NCN here. And then P power X will just be 3 over 4 power N. Okay. And then Q power N minus X will just be 1 over 4 power N minus N, which is 0, equals to 0.5625. Okay. Okay. NCN you can potong. Why you can potong? Because when you have two numbers same like this, and you will dapat 1. Okay, you can try with your calculator. You tekan 2C2, 3C3, 5C5, they will give you 1, right? So that's why this is 1, right? And when you times 1, nothing happens, so you can just leave it. And then the 3 over 4 power n, you can write it. 1 over 4 power 0, you can press calculator, you get 1. That's why this one can cut. So you're left with this 0.5625, right? Okay, they are asking you to find n, right? And let me tell you, the n cannot be decimal. The n mesti integer. The n mesti integer, and it has to be positive integer. You know why? Because n represents what? N represents the number of times, number of trial. N represent number of trial. Ataupun berapa kali you buat eksperimen, berapa kali you how to say? Berapa kali you choose, right? So if the quantity is berapa kali you choose, then it cannot be decimal one. It cannot be like decimal. So n must be a whole number. It has to be no fraction, no decimal. So now you have to think about 3 over 4 power berapa dapat ni kan? Okay, let me teach you. You can use the log punya cara. You just tekan calculator, log ini bahagi log ini. Okay? Tekan log ini base 10, divide log ini base 10, and the calculator will straight away tell you what is your n. So let's tekan log base 10, 0.5625 divide log base 10, 3 over 4. Okay, your calculator will straight away give you the answer. Okay, I already pressed my calculator and my calculator give me 2. That means the n is 2. That means this 0.5625 is actually 3 over 4 power 2. Okay, that means your n is 2 lah. Okay, and if you don't believe me, you can press 3 over 4 power 2. Okay, so let me explain again. The reason I know the n will be a integer, I know the n will not be decimal is because n represents number of trial ataupun how many times you choose, right? How many times you uh yeah, how many times you choose lah. So it cannot have decimal. That is why I know I will not that's why I know I will not use the log tambah log both side punya cara, right? But I can use that cara to get the answer, but I will not write the log method in my working because that method you only tambah log both sides when it's an ugly answer. It means you get the answer yang tak boleh tukar fraction. But I already know the answer will be a cantik punya jawapan. That is why I use the calculator to get the answer. But in my working, I never use log. Okay, I'll just change to same base and then I just write the answer. Okay, okay, hope you understand. Okay, let's do B. Calculate the mean of brand A car tires. Okay, when you are learning binomial distribution, you learn about this formula, but you also learn three more formulas, which is the mean formula, variance, standard deviation. Mean formula is NP, variance is NPQ, standard deviation is square root NPQ. Now they're asking for mean. This is the symbol for mean, and the formula is N times P, which is 2 times 3 over 4. And your answer is 3 over 2. Okay, because you get your N2 just now, right? So this is quite easy. So that is your answer. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's do bahagian B now. Okay, bahagian B, they say bahagian ini mengandungi 3 soalan, jawab 2 soalan. Okay, I will jawab all. Yeah, I will jawab all 3. Okay, because I'm doing this video for revision, so I will not choose 2 soalan, I will do all 3. Okay, let's start with 13A. Diagram 6 shows the graph fx equals modulus 3x minus 2. Okay, yeah. When the equation have modulus, it will look like this, like a V shape. Because if you remove the modulus, it's actually a straight line, right? Y equal mx plus c. Okay, it's actually look like this. But with the modulus, the negative part of the graph will reflect on the x-axis. That is why it becomes like a V shape. Okay, now they say for the domain -1 to 6. Yes, correct. That's the domain. And then what's number 1 here? Number 1 here says find the image of -1 and 6. That means -1 and 6 is the object. And you're trying to find image, right? So if you look at the graph, they want the image of -1 and 6. It means this -1 and 6 is the object, and object is the x, right? The x. So what they're asking you to find basically is they're asking you to find -1 when x is -1, the y coordinate here, and x equals 6, the y coordinate here. So they're asking you to find this and this, right? And how you do that is you just sub inside the equation. You find f -1 and you find f6. Okay. Okay, so the equation is modulus 3x minus 2, modulus 3x minus 2, ganti 6, ganti -1. Okay, -3 minus 2 is -5. When your modulus is positive 5. That means this is 5. And then this one is 3 times 6, 18. 18 minus 2, 16. Modulus is 16 also, so this is 16. Okay, all right, so what's the answer? 5 and 16, right? Okay, now let's do question 2. Sketch the graph for gx 2 minus fx for the domain -1 to 6. So they want you to sketch gx, but the equation looks different. It will be 2 minus fx. Okay, so let's do it here. So this will be gx equals 2 minus fx. But the fx is modulus 3x minus 2. So let's write it modulus 3x minus 2. Okay, let me tell you how it will look like first. First, you need to understand that these two, you can letak belakang, right? When you have to letak belakang like this. The 2, when you move it here, become +2 like this, right? And why I move it to the back is because I want you to know that this +2, it means that later your graph have to move up 2 unit, okay? Okay, let me tell you what will happen. The modulus 3x minus 2 graph is like this, right? But this time got negative in front. And when got negative means this whole graph have to terbalikkan. Terbalikkan means it has to reflect on the x-axis, everything. So this line will go down like this. And so I'll use red color, right? And then this line will reflect down also because got negative, right? And you learn this in trigonometry. Do you remember Addmaths trigonometry? You learn about sketching the sine, cos, tangent, right? So yeah, you learn it there. When there's negative in front means you have to terbalikkan the whole thing. And then what happens when you have +2 here? It means the whole graph have to move up 2 unit, right? And when you move up 2 unit, you jangan ingat, oh sir, kalau move up 2 unit, it become like this. No, it doesn't become like this. Because when you move up 2 unit, you need to make sure the coordinate also, right? Because tak semestinya when you move up, this whole thing will be above here one. Tak semesti. Maybe it's like here only, right? Right? So it's like you have to find out the point. You have to find out the point, like the starting point, the ending point, the x-intercept, y-intercept, all those points you have to find it in order to draw the correct shape. So now I already roughly know how the shape looks like. Now I will draw a table. And now I'll draw a table to find the actual point. Okay, to find the actual point, right? Okay, so let me draw nicely. So what point you will find? Okay, first point you will find is the starting point, because they want to draw domain -1 until 6, right? So this will be -1. The last point will be 6, and then the middle 2 points will be the x-intercept and y-intercept. So let's write here x, and then this one is the y coordinate. Okay, for the x, it will be -1, 6, and then this one I put 0, 0. Okay, because that's the important point we need, the x-intercept and the y-intercept, right? Okay, let's try to put in -1 inside here. -1, when you put it inside, we already know it's 5, but you have to take 2 minus 5. Okay, because when you put -1 inside here, you do it here already, right? Which is 5. But now it's like you have to take 2 minus 5, right? Understand, right? Because when you ganti -1 inside here, you get 5. So what is 2 minus 5? 2 minus 5 is -3, right? And it makes sense actually, because if you look at the starting point, it's -1, 5, right? But imagine if you reflect down. If you reflect down, it'll be -1, -5, right? It wouldn't be 5 already, because when you reflect down, it'll be -5, right? But since you move up 2 unit, then it's -1, -3 lah. So you see, it makes sense. Okay, what if I ganti x kosong dalam sini? So when you ganti x0, it'll be what? It will be 2 minus modulus 3 bracket minus 2, and this one 0. So it'll be 2 minus 3 times 0, 0, 0 minus 2 is -2. And here become 2 minus modulus negative become positive, and then here 0. That means your y coordinate is 0 here. Okay, and I will erase this. I'll erase this. That means your next point will be 0, 0, and it makes sense. Why? Why does it make sense? Because look at this point. This is the y-intercept, right? What happens when you reflect? It will not be 0, 2, right? Because when you reflect down, it will be 0, -2, right? Because when you reflect, the distance here must be same. Okay, it will be 0, -2. But then you have to plus 2. You have to move up 2 unit. So when you move up 2 unit, it becomes 0, 0 lah. That is why the point here is 0, 0. But I still recommend doing this table lah to get the exact coordinate. Okay, it's always good to find the exact point when you are sketching. Okay, the next point is ganti y0. But when you ganti y0, you will end up with this thing, the whole thing equals 0, which is negative modulus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, you move the 2 over first, become -2, and then here is negative modulus 3x plus 2. Now you move the negative. Okay, when you pindah negative, kena tukar tanda, so jadi positive 2, sini modulus 3x plus 2. Now you pindah modulus. When you pindah modulus, got two answer. One is positive, another one is -2. And then now you find your x, 2 minus 2, 0, 0 divided 3, 0. -2 minus 2, -4. So -4 over 3. So you actually get two answers, 0 and -4 over 3. That means you have two x-intercept. Satu pintasan x dekat 0, 0. Satu lagi pintasan x dekat -4 over 3, 0. So I think later your x-axis will be like something like this. That's why got one x-intercept. Okay, but it's okay. Let's look at the next point, 6. Okay, what happens if I ganti 6 inside here? Inside the 6 here. We already know because we do it just now already. So do you remember this one? So when you ganti, you get 16, right? That means this whole thing is 16. And then you just take 2 minus 16. You get -14. And it makes sense because the final point here is 6, -16. Because remember, this is the point, right? 6, 16. But when you reflect down, it will be -16. But you move up 2 unit. So that's why it's -14 lah. Okay. Okay. I recommend you to find another point. Yeah, I recommend you to find another point. Why? Because I realized there's one more important point, which is this point. Because I realized that when I move up 2 unit, the x-axis wouldn't be down here. It wouldn't be down here. It will be somewhere in between like this, cut like this. So I think it's important to find out where is this point. Okay, I already find the starting, ending, the x-intercept, y-intercept, which is good, right? But I recommend you to find one more point, which is this, because this will be important, right? And let me tell you how to find this. You just ganti x 2 over 3, right? But actually, you know the answer is 2 over 3. Okay, 2 over 3 is 0, but when you reflect, it's like 2 over 3. Uh, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, 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 okay lah, no need erase lah. I'll just do it up here. So let's ganti 203 because the x coordinate is 203. So it becomes f 2 over 3. Not f lah. It should be g, right? Because you sub inside here. So it'll be negative modulus 3 bracket minus 2 plus 2. And then the x here I sub 2 over 3. Okay, can cut. 2 minus 2 is 0. So modulus 0 plus 2, which is 0 plus 2 lah, which is 2, right? So that means this is 2 over 3, 2. Okay, that means the new, I mean the Tajam punya ni, the new coordinate will be 2 over 3 plus 2. And it makes sense actually because originally it's 2 over 3, 0. But when you move up 2 unit, then it's 2 over 3, 2 lah. Okay. Okay, now with all this information, all these points and all, and I even know how the shape looks like, now we can sketch the graph. And with all this information, you can sketch correctly for sure. Okay, let me make this smaller because I need space, right? Okay, so now I will draw the graph. I will sketch the graph, right? Okay, so let's start. First, the y-axis, and then next is the x-axis. Okay, but got negative value, right? Okay, wait, let me double check with the graph. So it's like this, like this. Okay, okay, okay. I think this is enough. No, this is not enough. This is not enough. This is not enough. I have to make it because later got negative 14. So I think I have to like lebih kurang macam ni. This one, this one draw long a bit. Okay, wait for me, Okay, I think this is fine. So this is my y-axis. This is my x-axis. Okay, the first point is at -1, -3. This is the starting point, right? So -1 and -3, you don't have to be accurate. Just like lebih kurang lah. Okay, the -1, I don't want to put here. I want to put like the punch gate because it's only -1, right? So this one is -3. So this is your first point. Or you can say like the starting point, right? Okay, the next one is 0, 0, which is the x-intercept. Or you can say it's also the y-intercept. Because your y-intercept and x-intercept is the same point, 0, 0, right? But but the next one is also 0, 0, so same thing. And then this one is -4 over 3, 0. So -4 over 3 is like lebih kurang lah, lebih kurang. Eh, negative ah. Uh, this one is negative or positive? Did I did I make a mistake here? 3x plus 2 equals -2. Wait 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay. This should be positive. But why I get negative? 4 over 3, 0. Because, yeah, when you move up, it shouldn't be negative. So where did I do wrong? Negative 3x minus 2 plus 2 equals 0. -2, positive 2 lah. 3x plus 2 equals 2. 3x plus 2 equals -2. Hmm. Sekejap Mana saya buat salah? 3x minus 2 equals 2. This one is minus or plus? This one is minus, right? Ayo, alamak. This one is minus, right? Yeah, this one is minus. So sorry. Okay, okay, okay. So I made a mistake here. Okay, but this one is correct. This last one is correct. This one 2 over 3, this one is correct. Okay, let's do again. When you ganti y0, it becomes what? Negative modulus 3x minus 2 plus 2 equals 0. So it becomes modulus 3x minus 2 negative. 2 move there become -2. And then negative move there become positive. Modulus 3x minus 2. Got two answer. 3x minus 2 equals 2. 3x minus 2 equals -2, right? Okay, the first x answer will be 2 plus 2, which is 4 over 3. And then the other answer is -2 plus 2 is 0. 0 divided 3, 0. So you get 4 over 3 and 0. So actually this 0, 0 is correct. It's just that the 4 over 3 is wrong because I put negative 4 over 3. It should be positive 4 over 3. Okay, so the correct point is at 4 over 3. So lebih kurang saja lah. So lebih kurang is here, 4 over 3. Right? This one is sketching question. Sketch punya soalan, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be accurate. Like just lebih kurang, agak-agak. Just agak-agak. Okay, next point is 6, negative 14, which is the last point, like the ending point. Okay, negative 14 is very down. Like it should be like very bawah here. Okay. So it's like 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay lah, lebih kurang here lah. And then 6 6, like let's make it far lah, because this one is 1 point. So let's make it like here maybe. Yeah. For sketching question, it doesn't have the scala, the scale don't have to be accurate one. Okay. Okay, so this is the last point, right? The ending point. Okay. Just now I recommend you to find one more point because I realized that I need to know the tajam punya part punya point. So the 2 over 3, 2, right? So where do you think is 2 over 3, 2? It must be half. Because 0 and 4 over 3 middle is 2 over 3. And then 2 is like naik sikit lah. So like lebih kurang here. 2 over 3, 2. So now I know my tajam punya part. Okay, now we can draw our line. So this is how it looks like. So you join like this and then join down here. Right? Okay, so make sure it touch all the points. Okay, so this is the equation. Okay, this is the equation. So you can write the equation gx equals, what is it? 2 minus modulus 3x minus 2 to top modulus. Okay, so they want us to sketch for domain negative 1 until 6. So done. This is the answer. Negative 1 until 6. Right? Okay. So hope you understand my working. Okay, let's continue with B. Given that composite function hkx 3x plus 5, hx 2 over x minus 3, determine the function kx. Okay, they give you composite function, and then they give you single function, and then they ask you to cari balik another single function. This type of question ada dua cara. Satu cara kena guna let, satu cara tak payah let. Right? Okay, macam mana nak tahu guna cara yang mana? First, I always teach my student, you have to start from composite function. If they give you composite function and single function, you have to start from composite function. And always write big bracket because you need to know that kena buat dalam dulu. So hkx equals to 3x plus 5. And the 3x plus 5, you just write it down because nothing you can do here. And now, you check whether you ada dalam ke tak ada dalam. Kalau dalam ada, then kena let. Kalau dalam tak ada, tak payah let. Maksudnya kalau dalam ada, kalau you dalam ada, you ada KX, that one is like lebih susah punya. Sebab you kena let. Right? Kalau ada lah. Tapi kalau tak ada dalam, then tak payah let. Sebab kalau dalam tak ada, luar mesti ada. And then you just tengok luar and then you can do it normally. Tapi kalau dalam ada, if you have inside KX, then that one is a bit difficult. You have to use a special method. You have to let. Okay, now tell me what's inside. Apa dalam KX? Ada ke tak ada? Tak ada. Tak ada. They ask you to find KX, right? It means tak ada. So kalau tak ada means tak payah let. It means this one you can do it using this is the easier method. Right? The easy way. So the easier method is like you don't have to let. You can straight away tengok luar. Because luar mesti ada. So luar apa? H. And you can see luar ada. Hx is 2 over x minus 3. But this one is H bracket x, which is 2 over x minus 3, right? But you cannot write 2 over x minus 3 here. Because that one is H bracket x. But now it's H bracket kx. That means your x have to replace with kx. That means the x at the back here also you have to write kx. Okay, so let me explain one more time. Hx is 2 over x minus 3. But hkx is 2 over kx minus 3. You just change the x to kx. It means the whole thing here have to replace the x. Okay, okay, now you can find your kx just by pindah-pindah cukup. So 2 over 3x plus 5 equals to kx minus 3. You can take this 2 terbalik macam tu because, because when you move this up here, it becomes darab. And then this thing move back down, become bahagi. So it's like they just switch place lah. And then now you want to find kx, is very easy. Just pindah the minus 3 jadi plus 3. So it becomes 2 over 3x plus 3 plus 5 plus 3. But if you write like this, your answer tak cantik. So how to cantikkan is like you change to single fraction. So you make the denominator same. But when you do it like this, the 3 also you have to times with 3x plus 5. So you will end up with 2 plus 9x plus 15 over 3x plus 5, which gives you which gives you 17 plus 9x over 3x plus 5. And that's your answer, right? So what is your kx? 9x plus 17 over 3x plus 5. Okay, but hold on a minute, because if your function, kalau ada x dekat bawah, there is an undefined case, and the undefined case will be negative 5 over 3, right? How do I get this? Is like I take 3x plus 5, cannot 0, because you cannot divide by 0. That's why you have to make sure the denominator cannot be 0. So that's why the whole denominator 3x plus 5 cannot 0. So x cannot equals negative 5 over 3, right? So this is the undefined case for x. That is why x cannot equals to this. Otherwise, it will be math error. Okay. Okay. So hope you understand. That's all. Okay, let's do 14. 14a, solve the equation. This is definitely an indices log question from 4 chapter. Okay, so how to solve? Solve means find x. So the equation look like this. Okay, when we are doing indices log question, you always make sure you same base. You always check the base, right? You want it to be same base. Because if it's not same base, then you cannot continue if it's not same base, right? So this one, is it same base now? Yeah, base 2 is same base on one side. But let me ask you, can you combine these two into one? Can you do that? Can you combine into one? Yes or no? The answer is no. No, you don't tell me like, oh, sir, can just take 2 power x plus 6 and then the power you minus. Tak boleh lah, mana boleh. If this one is divide, then boleh. Kalau dia bahagi, then you can take the power minus power and then combine jadi satu. But this one is minus, so cannot. So the law of indices that you learn is a power n times a power n is a power n plus n, right? And then a power n divide a power n is a power n minus n. So this is when you can combine. When it's same base times, then you can take the power plus. Ataupun same base bahagi the power minus. But if it's same base minus, you cannot combine, bro. So what you will do is you will pecahkan everything. So the method you have to use here is you have to pecahkan everything. How to pecahkan this? It means you do it in reverse instead. You change from a power n plus n to a power m times a power n. So what happens to the 2 power x plus 6? It becomes 2 power x times 2 power 6. You understand, right? Because it's like, since we can't merge them together, since we can't combine them together, so the opposite word for combine is like break up. So just break them up. Pecahkan semua. So a power n plus n, when you break up, becomes a power n times a power n. So this one, when you break, becomes 2 power x times 2 power 6. Minus, this one also you break, becomes 2 power x times 2 power 5. Okay, and then equals to 4. Okay, okay. After you break, you realize that this one can boleh buat, right? Dia boleh buat. So 2 power 6 is 64, so you buat lah. But you have to times with 2 power x. The one I will put it in bracket. Okay, the 2 power x tak boleh buat. Okay, so don't do it, just leave it. Minus 2 power x tak boleh buat, so biarkan. But 2 power 5 boleh buat is 32. And then the 2 power x, just put it in the bracket like this, right? And did you realize this bracket and this bracket, dia sama? So kalau dia sama, boleh tak kita factorize? Boleh kan? So when you factorize, it becomes 2 power x. And then you left with 64 minus 32 like this. And then kalau you buat ini, you will get the answer 32 here. And then you can pindah the 32 here. And then you can find x, right? Tapi ada lagi satu cara. You can, since it's like 2 power x and 2 power x sudah sama, you boleh jadikan dia a. It means you let the 2 power x jadikan dia a. So it becomes 64a minus 32a because they are both same, right? So you can change it to a temporary. Like just sementara sajalah. You just tukar jadi A temporary. But later you have to change it back, right? So 64A minus 32A is 32A. Which is 32 2 power x lah. You don't write A, like A is 2 power x. And then it goes 4, right? And then now you pindah the 32, it becomes 4 over 32, which is 1 over 8, right? And 2 power x and 1 over 8 memang boleh tukar jadi same base. Because I know 2 power 3 is 8. But this one is 1 over 8, so it's negative. Yeah, if you press calculator 2 power negative 3, it will give you 1 over 8. And now, since they are same base on both sides, now we can banding, we can compare the power. So that means your x will be negative 3. And that's your answer. Okay? Okay, let's do B. Okay, B is a log question. It doesn't matter whether it's log or indices. You always check the base. Indices ke log ke sama. You gonna make sure same base. If it's not same base, you cannot do. You has to be same base first. So let's look at the log base. Log base 2, log base 16. You're not same base already. So first step is to change base. And what base you will change? Okay, 2 and 16, they both can change to base 2. So you should change everything to base 2 now. Okay, the log 2m is already in base 2, so don't just leave it. And then this one is base 16. So how to change base? So you will write log base 2, log base 2. Atas sini you write n, bawah sini you write 16. This is how you change base. Log punya number tulis atas, log punya base tulis bawah. And then for the base is like you write whatever base you want. So base 2 lah, equals to 4, right? Okay, the 4 tak ada log tak apa because it's on the other side, so it's fine. So just leave it, right? Okay, log 16 base 2 you boleh buat, you get 4. If you ask me why is 4, is because log 2 16, 16 is 2 power 4. And then the 4 can letak depan, and when you letak depan, log 2 2 can cut becomes 1. Right? That's why it's 4. Okay. Okay, now yang atas sini is log 2n, and then yang sini is log 2m minus. Okay, how to get rid of the fraction? Just take everything times 4, right? Because you want to hilangkan fraction. So when you times 4, you get 4 log 2n minus, when you times 4, you get log 2n. Because times 4, you can potong, right? And then 4 times 4 is just 16, right? Okay, now you can see that this one can combine, right? Because you learn in logarithm, when you have single log times, contoh log a mn, single log times, it becomes separate log plus log am plus log an. Remember this? And what if I give you single log divide, log am over n? It becomes separate log minus log am minus log an. So single log times separate log plus, single log divide separate log minus, right? So this one is like separate log minus, right? So can you see it's same condition with this? So we can jadikan single log, we can combine, become single log divide. But before we combine, make sure depan log sini tak ada number dulu. Kalau ada number, you naik atas jadi power. So you can see the 4 here, you naik atas dulu. So it becomes log 2 n power 4 minus log 2n equals 16. The reason I naik atas is because I want to perform this later. I want to combine them. So now it's like depan tak ada, now it's like ready to combine. So when you combine, it becomes single log bahagi. Siapa bahagi siapa? n power 4 bahagi n equals to 16. Now you can do anti-log. How to do anti-log is like, because when you have log something, base something equals to something, you will do anti-log. Anti-log means like you pindah the log base to the other side. And when you pindah log base to the other side, it becomes the number base. So for example, log A base B equals to C. So A equals to B power C. Because the B, when you move here, it becomes base. And then the C becomes power, right? So you will perform this, okay? It's called the anti-log, right? So what I will do now is I will do anti-log. So it becomes n power 4 over n. Okay, the log base 2, when you move it over there, it becomes 2 power 16. And then the log hilang already. Yeah, the log hilang already. Okay, let's press 2 power 16. What's the answer? My calculator give me, okay, very big number, 65536. Okay, so just write it down lah. 65536. But the question asks us to find what? I forgot already. Oh, m in terms of n. Okay, means they want m equals lah. M equals. So how to make the m single? Okay, very easy. Just bring the n over here, becomes 65536n. And then bring the 4, becomes punca kuasa 4, right? So it becomes 4 root 65536n. Okay, let's try and press 4th root 65536. See whether you can punca kuasa or not. So 4 root 65536. Okay, yeah, your calculator, my calculator give me 16. That means you can 4 root this, right? 16. But don't forget the n also you have to punca kuasa 4. But that one you just write punca kuasa 4 n like this. Okay, that one I just write like this. Okay, because it's like n. So it's like you cannot do punca kuasa for unknown, right? So that's your M answer. Okay, that's my answer for B. But there's one more question C here, and I don't have enough space. So what to do? Let's make this smaller. Okay, wait for me. Okay, I need space. I need space. I need space. Okay lah, like this lah. Okay, let's do C here. So C, this is the question, right? Rationalize the denominator. 2 plus square root 5 over 2 minus square root 5. Okay, rationalize denominator means hilangkan square root dekat bawah. It means they want you to get rid of the square root at the denominator. And how to get rid of the square root at the denominator? You have to multiply with the conjugate cert. What is the conjugate cert? Okay, if the cert is A plus square root B, the conjugate cert is, it will be A minus square root B. And what if it's A minus square root B, then the conjugate cert will be A plus square root B. Okay. Tapi itu kalau dia ada plus minus, right? Tapi kalau tak ada plus minus, contoh dia macam square root A saja, then the conjugate cert will be square root A. Right? That means when you multiply with conjugate cert, the square root will hilang. Okay, so again, how to get rid of the square root at the denominator? Multiply with conjugate cert. So 2 minus square root 5, the conjugate will be 2 plus square root 5. So when you multiply with this, the square root, you will get rid of the square root dekat bawah, right? Okay, I'll show you now. So first is you will multiply atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah lah. So what is 2 plus, make sure you put bracket here. So when you multiply this, you have to do it depan darab depan, depan darab belakang, belakang darab depan, belakang darab belakang. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times square root 5, which is 2 square root 5. And then square root 5 times 2, also 2 square root 5. Square root 5 times square root 5 is just 5. Okay, you learned before already, Square root A times square root A is A. So square root 5 times square root 5 is 5, right? Okay, let's erase this. Okay, next one. What is 2 minus square root 5 times 2 plus square root 5? Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2 times square root 5 will be 2 square root 5. But you have to, the next one will be negative square root 5 times 2, which is negative 2 square root 5. So 2 square root 5 minus 2 square root 5, they will cancel, because it will cut, become 0. So you can skip that one. That one no need to write. You can straight away skip to the last part, which is negative square root 5 times square root 5, which is negative 5, right? That means you don't have to write the 2 square root 5 minus 2 square root 5 because it's 0. Okay. So remember, when you multiply with conjugate cert, you just have to darab dengan darab depan, belakang darab belakang is enough already. Because the middle part, they will cancel, become 0. Okay, let's continue. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, 2 square root 5 plus 2 square root 5 boleh buat tau. Because it's like they both have square root 5, right? So you can jadikan square root 5, anggap dia macam A. So it's like 2A plus 2A, which is 4A. But don't write A lah, right? Square root 5, right? So it's like 2 square root 5 plus 2 square root 5, 4 square root 5, right? But when you divide negative 1 means what? It means you have to tukar tanda. So 9 tukar tanda jadi negative 9, plus 4 tukar tanda jadi minus 4 square root 5. So this is your final answer. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, finally we are at our last question. Let's finish this. Okay, I want to do A here. Let's read the question. This is a trigonometry. Okay, it is given that sine alpha is P, where alpha is an acute angle. Acute angle means quadrant 1, less than 90. Okay, less than 90 degree. Okay, now it says express sec alpha in terms of P. Okay, whenever students do this kind of question, students forget to draw. That's why they never get full mark. That's why they struggle with this question. Is because they never draw. Remember, for this type of question, you need to draw. Why you need to draw is because they ask you to find sec alpha, right? Remember, if they ask you to find sine angle or cos angle or tangent angle or like sec angle or cosec angle, anything angle, right? Anything angle, you need to draw. You need to draw. Okay, you need to draw. Okay, because if you don't draw, you cannot do. Okay, and that's the reason why you always struggle is because you never draw. So let's draw now. Okay, but only for this type of question you have to draw. There's another type of question where they ask you to find angle. It means they never ask you to find sec angle or sine angle or cos angle. They just ask you to find angle. Just find theta. That one no need to draw. That one is like you just can straight away do it. No need to draw. But that one you have to tekan shift sine, shift cos, shift tangent, and you have to check whether it's like normal case, special case, right? But that one is another type of question. So that's for another day lah. But for now, it's like this one mesti lukis, right? Mesti lukis. So first I will lukis across. And since they already say the angle is in first quadrant, acute angle, so this is the hypotenuse. And you have to tarik to x-axis always. And this is your angle. Okay, they say sine alpha is P, right? So this is alpha. But P means P over 1. So we all know soka toa. So this is sine. So be opposite hypotenuse. So depan angle, we call it O. Depan 90, we call it H. This one, we call it A. Okay, for the sine, they say sine alpha. Alpha definitely is here because they already say it's quadrant 1. It's P over 1. So O is definitely P and it's definitely positive. And then hypotenuse is 1 and it's definitely positive. How I know is because first quadrant, all positive. And for the adjacent, I don't know, but you can find it. And I recommend you to find it now. Or else later you can't do your sec alpha. Just find it now, right? Whenever you have two sides of the right angle triangle, straight away find the remaining one. Don't care about whether they got us or no us, just find it. So the formula is Pythagoras theorem, bracket square, but you will minus lah. And you will take the longest one, which is 1 minus P. Okay, the hypotenuse is always the longest side, right? and you will minus because you are not finding hypotenuse. You will only plus when you're finding the longer side, the hypotenuse. Okay, you will get square root 1 minus p square. This is your adjacent. Your adjacent. Okay, now you can finally do the sec alpha. So I will do my sec alpha down here. So they say in terms of p, so your sec alpha will be, okay, we all know sec is 1 over cos. Okay, look at the third alphabet. Okay, if the third alphabet is C, then it's 1 over cos. But what about cosec? Cosec, the third alphabet is S. That's why it's 1 over sine. So this one, the third alphabet is C, so 1 over cos. Okay, what is cos alpha? Okay, ka. Adjacent over hypotenuse. And do you remember your adjacent? You find it just now? Square root 1 minus p squared. That's the adjacent. And then over hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is 1. So now you see why is it important, right? To draw. If you don't draw, how can you do this, right? Okay, the final answer will be 1 over square root 1 minus p square. Because this over 1, you don't have to write it. So the answer is just left with this one only, lah, right? So that's the answer. Okay, done. That's how you do A. So if you have the correct technique, you know the correct method, it's very easy to get to the answer, right? It's very simple, right? If you know what's the correct way to do it. Okay, B, they want you to prove that this whole thing equals to this, right? Okay, when you are doing proving question, there's always two sides, left hand side and right hand side. So you can choose to either start from the left hand side and then try to make it become the right hand side, or you can do it the other way, try to make the right hand side become the left hand side. But I always recommend students to start from the more complicated side. So which side looks more complicated here? Obviously the left hand side, because got fraction and it has so many trigonometry, right? So that means it's better to start from the left hand side. Yeah, because it's more complicated. That means there's more stuff you can do, more things you can change. There's more flexibility, right? Instead of starting from here, because you start from here, like not many things you can do. You can only change the sec to 1 over cos, and that's all. What else you can do? So it's very difficult to change from 1 over cos to this thing. It's very difficult, right? But if you do it the other way, it's more easier. So my advice is always start from the more complicated side, which is the left hand side in this case. Okay, the left hand side, let's write down 1 minus sine x over 2 cos x plus cos x over 2 minus 2 sine x. Okay, now I will focus on trying to change this so that it becomes 1 over cos x ataupun sec x lah. Oh, and by the way, sec x can only change to 1 over cos x. You cannot apply basic identity because there's no square here and there's no double angle formula here. So sec x, the only thing that it can change is like 1 over cos 100. So we have to try to change this to 1 over cos no matter what. Like you have to use your brain and think lah. Right? Okay, so what I will do now is can we factorize? Cannot, right? Yeah, you can factorize. Usually the susah punya soalan is like it requires you to factorize one. But I can see that we can't factorize now, but maybe we can factorize later. So now let's try to change to single fraction first, right? Because if you look at the fraction now is like two separate fraction. So what we can do is we can make the denominator same. It means it will become what? You will take 2 cos x times with 2 minus 2 sine x. And then do the same for atas. Times with the same thing, 2 minus 2 sine x. And then this one I will times with 2 cos x. Right? Times with 2 cos x. And then here also times with 2 cos x. And the reason I'm doing this is very simple, is to make the denominator same for both. So now your new denominator becomes what? Your new denominator becomes 2 cos x times 2, which is 4 cos x. And then 2 cos x times negative 2, which is negative 4. And then sine x cos x. This is the new denominator. And if you look at this also, the denominator is same. Yeah, if you try to take the 2 cos x here, you multiply with 2, you get the same. Right? That's why I multiply with this. Okay, now I have to write yang dekat atas lah. Okay, dekat atas. What happens when I take this bracket times with this bracket? Okay, 2 times 1 will be 2. Depan darab belakang will be negative 2 sine x. Okay, and then negative 2 sine x times 1, which is negative 2 sine x also. And then negative 2 sine x times negative will be positive, right? Okay, but I need more space. So wait. Let me get more space. Okay, so mana tadi? 2 times 1 is 2, okay? Negative 2, negative 2. Okay, negative 2 sine x times negative sine x is positive, right? Positive. But then it's 2 sine x times sine x is 2 sine square x. And then don't forget the plus. And then the cos x times 2 cos x is 2 cos square x. Like this, right? Okay, now continue. Okay, the denominator we can write 4 cos x minus 4 sine x cos x. Okay, I realize up here you can do, yang ni boleh buat, right? Ini boleh buat. Kenapa boleh buat? Because negative 2 sin x minus 2 sin x is negative 4 sin x, right? And then plus, okay, the 2 sin square and 2 cos square, I don't think you can do that because this one is sin square, this one cos square. And sin square dengan sin pun tak boleh buat sekali. Okay, but I think when I see sin square plus cos square, I immediately think about the basic identity. Because basic identity, sin square plus cos square equals to 1, right? Yeah, I immediately think about this. But the problem is this one is 2 sine square plus 2 cos square. This one is sine square plus cos square. So why not you factorize out the 2 from every terms here? And if you realize dekat bawah sini pun 4 dengan 4 boleh keluarkan 4, right? It means you factorize completely lah. You don't just take out the 4 actually. It's better to take out 4 cos x. Because if you look at these two terms, they both have 4 cos x. They both can divide 4 cos x. So it's better to factorize completely. So what happens here, down here is you left with 1, because 4 cos x divided 4 cos x is 1, minus 4, I sudah keluarkan, sin x cos x, when I take out cos x, it's just left with sin x. Means you factorize completely. Okay, so remember, whenever you get stuck on the proving question, you try factorizing. Yeah, you try to factorize. Maybe it's because you didn't factorize, right? Okay, now for up here is like you take out 2, right? So 2 divided 2 is 1. Divide 2 is negative 2 sine x. Okay, because 4 divide 2. And then this one divide 2, which is sine square. And then divide 2, which is cos square, right? And I know sine square plus cos square is 1 because of the basic identity formula. So now it becomes 2 bracket 1 minus 2 sine x plus sine square plus cos square, which is 1, right? And then over 4 cos x over 1 minus sine x, right? And then 1 plus 1 is 2, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. So it left with, wait. Did I did something wrong here? Oh, wait. This one can potong ma, right? This one can cut, right? Yeah, this one can cut. So when you cut, okay, let's cut at the next baris. Yeah, let's cut at the next baris. So when you cut, it becomes what? Okay, I need more space. So let me make this smaller. Okay, so when you cut, it becomes what? It becomes 1 plus 1, which is 2, minus 2 sine x. Okay, the 2 hilang already. This 2 cut already. And this 4 becomes 2 cos x. And then 1 minus sine x, right? Okay. And then, okay, how? Oh, this 2 can factorize, right? Because 2 minus 2 sine x, you can factorize out the 2 again, right? So when you take these two terms, the first term 2 divided 2 left with 1, because you factorize out the 2 already. And then negative 2 sine x, when you factorize out the 2, you left with negative sine x. And then over 2 cos x bracket 1 minus sine x. And you can see this one and this one can cut, right? Okay. And then the 2 also can cut. Yeah, the 2 also can cut. So when you cut, you left with cos x dekat bawah. And what is cos x dekat bawah? Cos x dekat bawah means, what? It means sec x lah. Okay, so it is 1 over cos x, which is sec x. And I can write proven here because they want us to prove equals to sec x just now, right? So yeah, that's the answer. Okay, let's finish it. Let's do C. Okay, what's the question? By using trigonometric ratio, find the values of cos 840. Okay, what's the meaning of using trigonometric ratio? It means they don't want you to use calculator. I mean, can use calculator, but um, they want you to use the table lah, right? And okay, let's talk about the trigonometric ratio table. So the table look like this: 30, 45, 60. And I always ask my student to hafal this table because it's very important. So this one is sine, this one is cos, this one is tangent. 1 over 2, 1 over 2, sec 3 over 2, sec 3 over 2, 1 over sec 2, 1 over sec 2, 1 over cert 3, 1 cert 3. So this table is very important. You need to memorize. Okay. For other angles, you don't need to memorize, but for 30, 45, 60, this table very important. Yeah, I need to know this, right? So I think this question, cos 840, they mentioned by using trigonometric ratio. That means they will be using this table. That's what it means. Okay, but this one is 840. So why not we take 840 minus 360, and I think I can minus 2 times, right? So let's try to get it in first quadrant first, right? So 840 minus 720. So your answer is 120. So remember this, it doesn't matter berapa pusingan, you will always take angle towards X. I repeat, it doesn't matter dia pusing berapa pusingan, kita selalu ambil reference angle. Reference angle is always angle towards X, right? So that's why you minus 360, you can minus 360. Yeah, it doesn't affect your answer, right? Tak kira berapa pusingan you pusing pun, yang penting is ambil angle towards X. Okay, cos 120 is here, right? So the reference angle for 120 would be here, which is 180 minus. Okay, 180 minus. That's how you find reference angle when it's quadrant 2. You take 180 minus, right? But you have to put negative in front here, because when it's cos second quadrant, add sugar to coffee, second quadrant only sign gives you positive. And this one cos, so later the answer will give you cos, it will give you negative answer. So 180 minus 130 is 60, and for the cos 60, you can refer the table here. It's 1 over 2. And of course, this table, they never give one in exam. You have to hafal yourself. Okay? Okay. I think I'm done with this paper. Yeah, this is the last question, right? Okay. So that's all. I'll see you next video. Bye bye.